Well, hello there, gamers, and welcome back to the only board gaming podcast that has a me. A lot of other shows out there get by with their own charms and hilarious content, but none of them have quite the level of me that we have, wouldn't you say? This episode is 43, which is a pretty nothing milestone in the grand scheme of things, but with me at the helm, it turns into a significance that must be remembered, if not for us, for me. The fact that we haven't been shut down by the FCC at this point is a testament to just how insignificant we truly are. We average between about 150 and 250 downloads per episode, which is also a testament to Natalie's refresh finger. And every time I tell people, like friends and family, that I host a board gaming podcast, they all say the same thing. I don't know if you guys have this too. How can you talk about board games for 2 hours? Instead of things like, wow, that's great. How can I support you? But seriously, I kind of understand the question. I mean, to a non, this must seem insane. But what I always say to them is, couldn't you talk about the thing that you're most passionate about for hours?
Right.
And then I tell them to mind their own beeswax and to buzz off and other B-type insults.
B-type insults.
So, all right, real quick. There's this, it is so funny. So after I did the B-type insults, I went to find a B joke because I was going to insert a B joke in here. I found this thing, and I got to figure out how to share it. So we're doing video here for the first time,
so can we not
a
see
different
the
way.
video?
No, you're going to hear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're going to hear it. But I also want to show the meme because it's really funny. I found it on Reddit. So let me do one of these, and it's it's just
B jokes.
Yeah,
you just went to Google and typed in B jokes.
Yeah.
Did you type in B-E-E or just B?
B-E-E. And I landed on R, like Reddit. It was like R B jokes.
There's actually a Reddit on B jokes.
Yeah, there's a Reddit on B jokes.
Reddit's great.
So, okay, that's a little spoiler showing Masters of Renaissance. Okay, so here it is. All right, you guys are just going to hear it. So it's two bees. There's a picture of two bees. One is a bee, and the other one is a wasp. And the bee says bros, and the wasp says not bros. Okay, so the bee says bros. They just want to see what you're playing. You better thank them for giving you your dumbass honey and keeping the flowers alive and shit. And then the wasp says, not bros. These dicks wear the bee uniform just to troll wildlife and you. But do not be fooled. These guys exist only to fuck you up and don't care what you're playing. That's some guy that really hates wasps. Wasps. Oh my gosh. So that's the bee. That's the end
funny.
of the bee joke.
Well,
B
one
jokes.
of my cousins who attended our wedding asked, I don't know if I told you this, Jeff, but
He
she
asked for a
texted
good
me.
bee joke?
She texted me and was like, hey, what's the name of your podcast? I want to check it out.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay. And I sent it to her and I was like, we have an Instagram too. And then like 2 seconds later, she was following us.
Man.
Every picture
Did
she was like, this is dumb.
Did
You're
she
nerds.
listen?
I don't know
Dweebs.
if she did.
Yeah.
But she said she was. And then yesterday, a friend of ours, she said her nephew, she's a little bit older, but she was like an old coworker.
What does that mean?
I know.
I just mean like, I don't think she cares that much about
Yeah.
the board games, but her nephew does. And so she's like, I told my nephew about your, podcast. And she's like, here's his Instagram. He's going to follow you too. And
Man,
listen.
we're
And so I was
making
like,
connections.
awesome.
Here we go.
I always get the
As we
A
get
year
older
later,
people's
people are
nephews.
finally.
I always get the fun response.
Do you? Yeah.
Oh, board game. Oh, fun.
Which
Yeah.
was
Like, thanks.
featured in our beatdown as
Yeah.
a horrible insult.
Oh,
We now know that to be an
oh,
insult.
fun.
Oh, right.
Thanks.
Oh, gosh.
Or they're
Oh my
like, you
gosh.
do?
Like, oh, yeah, I do. And
And it is fun.
it is fun.
So where was I going with all of that, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. I have no idea. So often my monologues write themselves. I seriously just sit down in front of the computer and I just start typing, well, hello there, gamers.
Yep.
And then I just see where my fingers take me. And so here we are today. It's like when you're telling a story to some people and they're like super captivated, but then halfway into the story, you're like, oh God, I don't have anything. How am I going to end this story? It's not going anywhere, and all these people are going to be disappointed.
Isn't there
which
an
is like my
office
life in
line?
general.
Isn't there an office line where he starts a sentence and he doesn't always know where
Michael? Yeah.
It's multiple
Don't
starters, right, or
ever,
something?
for any reason, do anything to anyone at all. For any reason. And then they cuts to his talking, and he's like, sometimes I tell a story and I just don't know where it's going to go. So to bring it back to the less awkward, let's talk about something super cool going on with one of our awesome listeners, Jim Gamer.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. You've heard us talk about Jim Gamer a lot on the show. If you recall, he had a nasty situation with some hot wings.
Yeah.
And the sauce getting all
that was
over
him?
his hot
Yeah.
wing.
Oh.
And then dousing the flames of his fiery loins with bathroom water while other patrons kept coming in.
Fiery loins.
Good stuff. Yeah, it's fiery
And
loins.
yeah,
It's good
he's
journalism.
awesome.
Journalism 101. Well, when Jim is not embarrassing himself by exhibiting exhibitionism in the bathroom, he's designing websites. So that's right. He has just launched his new gaming website. Please check out www.whatboardgame.com. That is his website.
Okay.
If you head on over there, you'll find reviews on games written by Jim, a bevy of interviews with notable people in the gaming industry. You might even see your least favorite Gamecasters host in this one. There's also
I didn't get interviewed. What are you talking about?
That'd be the best. There are also resources on there for print and play games. Jim's a big print and player, and he's trying to get some exposure. See what I did there, Jim? For some of these, which is really cool. There's also a forum feature on the site, and I'm to understand that this is the main part of the site Jim wants to highlight. So he wants people to come and socialize on there. You can sign up for free and then post to your heart's content. It's kind of like, like any other kind of website that has forums. Like you make your own username, and then there's a bunch of. Right now, he's seeded it with a bunch of forum posts, and you just go on there. You can reply. He responds very quickly. He's very passionate about this website, it's super cool. It looks really
on there
good.
now?
You can go on there now.
That's cool.
Yep, it's up and live as
We'll
of
have
a
to
couple
sign
days
up.
ago of this recording. Today is the 7th of June. It's been up for a couple days. It's very cool.
I need to go get the Mad Board Gamer username, or so I don't want anybody to take
You
it.
gotta steal it. You gotta snatch that up on a bear trap. What if I took it?
Yeah. Or you should just go on there
Give
because
it to
Jim
you.
is awesome.
Jim is
Yeah,
so awesome.
support
What a
Jim.
great guy. So go check it out. Did I mention that there's an interview with me? I did an interview. Ryan James.
good.
An interview. You liked it? Thanks.
Yeah.
Whatboardgame.com. Me. Go check me out. No, make sure you just don't like it more than you like us, because we want Jim's website to be a distant third where
website.
we are
We're a
second.
podcast. They
Yeah,
can
but
make
your board gaming content needs to be consumed by the Gamecasters. Just kidding. Of course, we wish our good friend Jim the best of luck with his new project. So with that sponsored content out of the way, what is up
Sponsored
with you
Sponsored
guys?
content.
Yeah, right.
Did we get anything for that?
Well, he gave me an interview.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You talk about me on your show, I will let you be on my
Yeah,
website.
I will allow you to be on my website. Great.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Well,
You're here.
I'm
But We
here.
should talk
We're
about
here
that.
in
You're here.
person.
Can you guys see us?
After
Hello.
months.
in person. This is great.
This is awesome.
It felt really weird because when I walked in, I told Ryan, I said, this is maybe the first house other than mine I've been in months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a long, long time.
Right.
And it feels really good. But it also is like weird. Like, should I be
Right.
here?
When
Am
you
I
first
breaking
walked
some
in,
sort
I
of
felt
rules?
Like you were like standing
should I be
back far away from us.
I know.
was
We
like,
recorded this whole thing wearing masks.
Yeah, should I be wearing a mask? And I know you guys have been home for
Yeah.
the 90 days that I've been home.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
but it feels really awesome to be like in person.
I know. It's
Yeah.
cool. We should have cleaned. We really all we do is cough on every surface all the
Yeah,
time.
okay, fair enough.
So
I have
we
hand
probably should have
sanitizer in my
cleaned it up.
bag.
Yeah. Well, I can cough on that if you want.
Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah, it's crazy. This has been such an interest. I mean, like you said, it's not over yet, but
But
places
it's-
are starting to reopen.
Yeah, Michigan, they're starting tomorrow, Monday the 8th. I know that like restaurants can open at half capacity, and like retail stores can
Yeah.
open more. And I think next week, like hair salons and nail salons and massage places
most
can
important.
open.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of touching in
I haven't
those
been able to
things,
get
so
my
I'm-
happy ending.
Right, so it's like,
Long
yeah,
time.
things are opening up, but like we just got some more masks because we needed some more from my friend who makes them, and I mean we figured we're gonna have to be wearing masks for a while still, when we go to stores and stuff.
Shout
like
out to
that.
Stephanie.
I
making
need
these
to
awesome
I
masks.
need to get a hold of
Thank you.
Stephanie because I need some masks that are a little more comfortable. I have a couple that are not great, but I'm assuming I'm gonna have to wear a
I
mask
will
at
send
school.
you home with one today
And
because
okay.
I
She
have
gave us
two
like a bunch of extra
that are the
Okay.
same size, and I have my other one still, which I can still use.
Okay.
So I'll send you home.
Yeah, because it's not very comfortable, and I know that I might have to be in one for 6-8 hours a day talking
Ugh,
to students.
that
which
sounds terrible.
I'm gonna need to get something that's like good. I need to get something that has like ventilation, but there's only a certain amount of
Yeah.
ventilation, right? You can't
Well,
have like
yeah,
so
these
much
are just
ventilation that you're
cloth.
like spitting
I've
out of
seen
the
those
mask.
ones that have like a little circle on them.
Right.
Yeah,
almost like
yeah.
a little like spot you can put a cigarette. Because where am I going to put my
like
cigarette?
one of these.
I don't smoke. Yeah. You touch it. How long? Let's do it again.
Well, these ones are just cloth. Like
Yeah.
I wear them to the grocery store in like sometimes I'm there an hour because I only go when we like really need groceries.
She goes when she desperately needs alone time.
Yeah, or
Let me
that.
just sit for an hour in the
I'm
grocery
usually
store.
or because I'm walking up and down every aisle because they're all one way, so it's like annoying to like
Yeah,
skip
isn't that
aisles.
weird? The aisles are one way.
Yeah.
She's been physically accosted for not following the arrows on the
Yeah.
Well,
in the grocery
Somebody
store.
aggressively
rules.
poked me in the back.
Aggressively poked.
Well,
Have
even
you ever been
a
aggressively
touch.
poked?
No, seriously.
I try to aggressively
I
poke
was mad
Natalie
they-
once a night.
Heyo.
I was
Hey.
mad they touched me in the first place because come on.
Right,
Yeah.
you're mine.
And then, but like,
You
if
belong to
I-
me.
If I aggressively poked, I mean, like, it was 5 minutes later and I still felt it on my back. Like, it was hard.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways,
That's not okay.
after wearing it for an hour, I'm desperate to take it off.
Yeah, I'm
So
really
even I don't
concerned
know what kind of
about-
mask is going to be comfortable to wear all day.
I'll wear it because I'm gonna need to, but I'm gonna have to in between classes at
it'd
least
be
take a breather or something because
Yeah.
it's not
Well, like,
comfortable.
If you're
No,
standing
dude.
at the very front of the class, you could probably like pull it down a little or
Yeah, if
something.
I'm
I feel you
far
when you're
away.
like, so we went to the
Yeah. As long as
the
you're like
Alamo.
away.
I don't know
Yeah.
what you'll teach them about. Teach them about the Alamo.
I am
We're remembering the
curious.
Alamo today.
I am curious what they're going to end up doing.
Me too. I've heard nothing. I know they're planning for 3 different things. So the plan 1 is normal school, which involves no planning. Plan 2 involves some sort of maybe these kids are there 2 or 3 days a week and then they're home 2 or 3 days a
yeah,
week.
I heard
And then the third plan is that it's entirely online. So I know they're at least trying these different avenues.
Yeah.
But with Michigan opening back up, I know they're going to kind of see how things are going.
Right, because like if it's opening up now, it's going to be a few more months before school even starts.
Yeah, so we'll see if there's that second
Yeah.
wave that hits or it's all and I feel like I'm wearing a mask for the first time in my life to public places and then I see someone who's not wearing it and I immediately am like the most judgy person on the planet.
Yep.
Like, what's your problem? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
What's your problem?
Yeah, very, very early on, I went to the grocery store a couple times and without a mask because I didn't have one, but that was back before it was like required.
Yeah.
But I still felt so guilty. Like I'd look around, I'm like one of the only ones not wearing a
damn.
mask, and I was just like, don't breathe, like don't like touch your face at all, like don't cough,
Yeah.
like everyone's gonna be like, "Ugh, get away."
I've seen people like put their shirt over their face
Yeah.
trying to like do that. Yeah,
You
it's
pass out
different.
and people thank you for
Yeah.
not breathing on me.
But like I went to Dairy Queen with Scarlett and Lexi the other day, and I made them wear masks when it's all outside. It's like outside Dairy Queen, you stand in line at the window. But I still made them like wear their masks, and I wore a mask. And then there was like X's on the ground, 6 feet
Yep.
apart in the line.
Oh, really?
And I'd say half the people were wearing masks, half the people weren't. And so they're like, "We're not wearing a mask," and I'm like, "Who cares? Wear your mask."
It's a
hard to eat-
representation of
it's
the
hard to eat
political
ice cream.
divide.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
hard to eat
country.
ice cream with a mask.
We
Half
just
of
like
them,
got it
yeah.
and took it home.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, actually, I let Scarlett take it off because
it's hard for there's no way.
Well, she had like Cameron's because Lexi wanted the girl one, and then Cameron's is too big because Scarlett's only 3, and so I was just like, whatever.
Get in the car.
You're outside.
Get in the car. We're getting
6
ice
feet
cream.
away.
Eat your ice cream. You can't have dinner till you eat your ice cream. So, question for you, Jeff.
Yep.
Natalie and I have been going through Arrested Development.
Awesome.
And we're into the
My
new stuff
gosh.
now,
Yep.
which we haven't seen before.
Okay. Oh, like season 4 new?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
they're like it looks like they're like stitching things together.
Have you?
Yeah.
So they're. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, I originally watched back when they first released the new content. I originally watched it and I hated it.
Okay.
And then you told me, you were like, dude, it's better. They fixed it.
Yes.
They kind of like stitched things together. I never watched it, but so I took Natalie through it. We went through from the beginning.
Awesome.
And I have 2 questions for you in
okay.
a minute about it. And then we got to season 4. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this because I watched it before and it was terrible. I was like, Jeff actually told me that they kind of fixed it, but we'll see. And it's so good.
It's so
still.
much
it's
better.
just,
Still
like,
so
laughing
good.
out loud.
Yes.
Still just like.
So yeah, when they redid season 4, it's so much better.
So I
Yeah.
have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
The first question is, who is your favorite Arrested Development character?
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
you're gonna have to pick
Okay.
one.
I have one.
Yeah, I want.
Okay.
I want because Natalie told me hers.
Am I answering this now, and then you're gonna tell me question 2?
Yeah, answer it now, and I'll tell you question 2. Well, because
I
question 2 is
think
very
so.
different.
This is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Again, this
and-
is Arrested Development. Everybody, if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, wherever you need
It's
to
one
find
of the
it.
most cleverly, brilliantly written shows I've
Yes.
ever seen. You've probably seen it, but if you haven't, you got to go watch
Probably
it.
heard of it.
I think,
yeah.
and we've always talked about this. I go through moments where I have different favorites every episode or every
Yeah.
like the second time I watch it, I'm like, man, Michael's so funny. And the third time I watch it, I'm like, George Michael's so funny. And then I watch it. I think I have to say Job. I think I have to go with Job
I
as
agree.
being my my favorite.
I think he's probably my favorite
Joe's
too.
your favorite?
I think so.
Come on, Michael.
So George Michael, I agree, is like everything he says is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's just not in it enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For him to be.
And he's not as funny in like when he's older in the,
And
the new version.
and I would say a close second is Lucille. Lucille's a close second.
She is okay. All right.
Who's
so
the mom?
let's hear Natalie's.
My favorite is Buster.
Nice. Excellent.
Everything he says is so funny.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, he is.
I named her Mother.
It's great. It's so funny. Like anybody ever want to or her. It's just so funny.
He just wants to touch boys' lionesses.
It's perfect.
So yeah, if you guys have not seen Arrested Development, you gotta check that out. Okay,
Yeah.
Jeff, my second question for you. Natalie
Okay.
and I were in it wasn't such a heated debate. It was more just like, what do you think? No, I don't think so. And I was like, well, I kind of do. And she was like, well, how about now? And I was like, I guess not. All right, we're talking about Maybe, the character Maybe.
Okay.
Her real
my
name is Aaliyah Shawkat or something
Yeah, something.
like that.
You're going to talk about this?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
Is she attractive?
Yeah.
I think so too. Natalie thinks she's repugnant,
No, I thought she was a...
and she listens to the show,
I
so this is hurting her
I
feelings.
thought she was cute when she was like younger in
Ew.
the first part.
Gross.
But like in like the newer version when she was older, not as much. I feel bad saying this.
You
Why
should.
did you make me
Should feel a
say
little
it?
bad.
We'll cut it out if we don't need it. Sorry.
No, well, because I felt like when she came on screen, I was like, oh, sweet, there's Maybe. She was looking good. And you were like, ew. And it was just like so
Yeah.
different. And I was like, oh, really? Am I wrong? Is she not?
Well, then like 2 seconds later, he's like, yeah, I guess not. I guess she's not.
Yeah, but I was
Just went
really
back
just
and
saying
forth.
that to not be mean.
Were you looking at her face though, or yeah? That's what,
Or
okay.
maybe.
That's
Yeah,
the difference.
I was.
I like it,
between-
maybe.
Maybe I was. I think Maybe's pretty. I thought she was pretty. I mean, she was young, but I thought she was pretty back then. I think she's pretty
Yeah.
in the newer stuff. Anyway, great show.
Great show, watch
That's
it.
what we were watching. I just think you're anti-freckle. You're a freckleist.
I don't. I thought she. I like. We're just done talking.
I have something to say.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It's not about Arrested Development, but man, we could just do a podcast about Arrested Development.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
I had to do some game rearranging
What do you mean?
on
You got-
my shelves.
I know
got too
why.
many?
I think your
So,
shelves are bulging.
I'm running out of room,
Yeah.
and I've
Especially
made a
during
commitment that
COVID.
Your shelves are wearing
I'm
skinny
not
jeans.
going to buy a new game shelf. ... until I finish my basement and move everything downstairs.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So the calyx, I have 3 of the calyxes, which those are those 2x4 cubes.
If you remember, basically that was his backdrop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In the previous
And
episodes.
so what I've done is I'm usually a vertical storer. Store them vertically. I feel like it looks nicer. I know some components tip over, and we don't need to get in that
Yeah,
huge
you just
debate.
bag
but
them up, man.
Yeah.
Takes care of that.
So
saves the box. Everything.
What I've had to do is I've had to do some mishmash of turning some games horizontal, especially games that are like taller and skinnier. I've turned them horizontal and stacked them up. So then I have a few cubes that have horizontal stacked games and then vertical games stacked next to it.
Ooh, that looks.
So it gets me
probably looks
like
really good.
It gets me like 2 or 3 more games in
Wait, it does?
a cube
Gotta
every once in a
maximize
while.
your
Calyx,
space.
aren't
So-
the calyx the same?
Yes, but you're not utilizing the depth. So if I went and like a size like Istanbul, you could take Istanbul, Marco Polo, Troyes, and Newton and stack them up vertically, and then you would have on the side of it to the right, you would have one more slot for another game vertical.
Gotcha.
Or if you slide with those horizontal,
sure, right.
and then you'd have another room for it. Does that make sense?
No,
So you
I
have-
think so.
does.
I'm
Yeah,
stupid.
I'll
but
show
I'm
you.
Really
We'll do a
stupid.
demonstration.
I think I get it.
Well, because
I do think I get it.
The length of the box is
What about the girth?
The girth of the box.
taller
Yeah.
than the width, so
The length is taller
So
than the
yeah,
width?
so
Yeah.
I'll show you, but I've had to do some like I feel like I'm playing Tetris or Jenga
Yeah.
to get some of the games to fit. But I have all of my games fitting either in the cubes or I have like 10 on top.
Before you
but-
start, are you like, Alexa, play Tetris music?
yeah.
Tetris
theme.
Oh my god.
Hold on, let's see if it works.
For game players
Okay.
on Amazon Music.
It's doing it.
Horizontal,
And then
vertical. What do I do with Clank? I don't know, but I guess I will just leave it there. All right, Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop.
now she stops listening.
But there are games where you
Screw
can't do
you,
that.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't do that with like the Carcassonne big box. You couldn't do that
Yeah.
with just these larger box. You can't
Yeah,
how does
right.
it
because
look?
then it fits. That's what I'm going with.
I think it looks
fine.
I wanted to do that for aesthetic because I think it would look cool to have some offset
Yeah,
in a
you
different
Yeah,
way.
I'll take a
tried that
picture and
once,
show it
but
to you
then
guys.
you ran out of games to like coordinate it well.
I'm just a freak. I'm just a freak
Yeah.
of nature. That's cool. I
Why
want
are
to see a
you
picture.
freak of
Yeah,
nature?
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
I'm doing.
funny. I was I know it's like a big debate, like horizontal, vertical, how do you
Yeah.
stack your games? And I saw one of those, those things that they've been putting on Instagram where it's like lists things like this or that, and you circle which one. And I saw a few people do one, and that was one of the questions, like horizontal or vertical. And like everyone that I saw said horizontal, and I'm like, are we like?
Nope, that's wrong.
They're very
Are we-
opinionated.
They're wrong.
Are we in the minority?
It's like you
I
put toilet paper going on with the thing coming down in the front, not the
front.
back.
It's the front.
It's the
Toilet paper
front,
is definitely the front.
which is the same thing. It's vertical toilet papers.
Yeah, but like what would you assume based on your knowledge the split is?
It's probably a little more than 50-50. I think the majority of... No, actually, it's probably 50-50.
Okay.
I think it's about 50-50.
Yeah, I'll go 50-50.
The horizontalers are wrong. Sorry, horizontalers. I'm a horizontalist. There is just really no... Other than Jeff's space-saving technique, I think there is nothing good about it. And here's why. I used to do horizontal stacking. And it's not... For vertical stacking, it doesn't just look better, which I think it does look better, but it doesn't just look better because
to get the games.
that was the number one problem I found. So box dishing is a thing. If you have a super heavy game on the bottom and a bunch of games stacked on top of it, and you don't touch that stack for a long time, the box is going to dish. It just will. But more than that, I have found that I just don't reach for the game on the bottom of the stack as often because it's I mean, this is totally first world problems, but you have to take out the entire stack, move the top games on top to the side, then you grab the game on the bottom, play it. Then when you put it back, you got to put it back on the ground, pick the
Yeah.
games back up, put it on, pick the whole stack up and put it back in. The only other way you could do it is if you just slide it out with the games, but then you get a bunch of box wear. And maybe you don't care about that. So if you just slide the game out and like hold the other games in,
Ugh, that
grab
makes me
it,
cringe.
Ugh, I know. Your boxes are just gonna get torn up. Whereas in vertical, every single one of my games is accessible.
Yeah.
And I don't have to move any other game out of the way.
Yeah.
Not to mention, it just looks. It does. I think it looks better. But
Looks
that
like
that
like a
that is the
bookshelf.
one preference I can understand. Like, I can't argue with you that you think it looks cooler to have it horizontal than vertical. Like that's just a personal preference, I think. But I think practically, it's better to have them vertical. I mean, Jeff had a comment you mentioned a minute ago about people, and this is what people say. The biggest thing they speak out against is all my components fall. Mm-hmm. And I think that's only a problem if you don't bag your components, or if you just leave them. Like if there's a really cool insert, maybe you don't bag the components.
Yeah.
But for the most part, a really cool insert will be tight enough that you can kind of put it whatever way.
Most of the time. There are some I've noticed that you have good inserts that they'll still...
Yeah, I
But it
agree.
doesn't bother me.
And that's kind of a big. That can be a bummer. But for me anyway, 90% or more of my game collection is the components are bagged.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever just
Yeah.
want your components loose in the box. And so because they're bagged, it doesn't matter what you do with the box.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. They will go back to vertical once I get a new shelf and put everything
you
downstairs.
Have, you
Yeah.
have a good reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's better than stacking them on the floor.
Yeah.
yeah, more shelves, baby. More shelves.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, what have you been playing?
I've been playing some games. Well,
I heard about you.
we've been a little bit slower the last couple weeks.
Sure.
I don't know what. Maybe the weather. It's been warmer, so we've done some stuff outside. So
Yeah.
we're maybe tired, and we go in. And we also did not make a schedule last week. I know I've talked about our
Yeah,
schedule.
you've been doing the schedule thing
and
for
we
a
didn't
while.
do it. So both games and what we were having for dinner was all thrown off.
Yeah.
We didn't have any preparation for the week. So we did play a game of Crown of Amara, which I
Ooh.
know you guys played and talked about. So I'm not going to go like super in depth into the game review.
Sorry,
I know
I'm ahead of myself. I thought you were talking about something different, and so all that's up right now is the Bees Bros thing.
bees.
So keep talking.
Well, I figured I would talk about the other one a little in depth in
Yeah,
a
sure.
minute.
No, go ahead and hit it hard.
So, and if you remember Crown of Amara's got some cool. It does have very unique mechanisms in it, if you remember.
yes,
So
the rondelles, the
There's
double
the-
rondelles.
double rondelles. Yeah, you guys didn't love the game. I think it fell into your maybe.
Did
We
play
played it
that?
the
Good
weekend we got
category.
engaged.
Oh.
Right.
Yep.
I remember
At
playing
Grand
it in a
Con.
hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
so
we do.
a couple unique mechanisms is that there's two rondelles. There is some very cool card play. So you're playing cards to your player board, and the card has an action on it. The player board, the spot that you put it in your player board, has a number of spaces that you move either worker on either of the rondelles. One of the rondelles gets you resources. The other one, you turn those resources into points. And
then where it ends up, you get...
Yeah, so your ending movement, you take that action on the wedge of the rondelle.
If you look at the video, I got both. You can see both boards here, plus the cards that Jeff's talking about.
Yeah, and the last thing that's cool about this is there's 2 things that you need to make sure you're scoring points in. So it's not just one scoring track. You need to score people. So you're getting people to come, attracting people, and you need to get housing. So you're kind of turning resources into both attracting people and getting housing.
And your lesser of the 2 is your score?
Yeah, so your lesser of the 2 is your overall score. And I brought out 2 games for Devin, and I said, which one do you want to play tonight? And I brought out Rajas of the Ganges and Crown of Amara.
Has she played either one?
She hasn't played either of them, so they were going to be new to her either way, because I wanted to...
She was kind of just like based on the box?
She flipped over the boxes, and afterwards I asked her, I'm like, why did you pick this one? And she said the picture on the back, she liked that there were 2 boards. She saw the 2 boards and like, that seems cool. Let's try that.
And that's the marketing ploy for this game.
Yep. So we played it, and in my head, it doesn't seem like a game that Devin would like. The art's not amazing.
Yeah.
That doesn't blow me away.
Yeah.
It's tough. The game is really tight. It's tight with resources.
Sorry. Toit.
It's toit with resources, because once you get resources, you need to figure out a way very soon to turn them into points. And if you kind of slip behind on getting resources, or you focus on something that's not right, or that doesn't get things for you, it can fall apart quick. And I was really nervous because I thought she would like Ganges better. And I was like, all right, well, she picked it. Let's just play it. And at the end, I said, Devin, what column is this going in? Is this going in the Devin likes column or the Devin dislikes column?
You got to make a whiteboard with that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm keeping track. I have a note section on my phone.
All right, because pretty soon we're going to do a top 5 Devin likes game.
Yeah.
Devin dislikes too.
Yeah.
And she said she liked it.
You have a Devin in your life. Here's what she'll like.
Here's what she'll like. And she liked it. It surprised me that she enjoyed it. And I asked him, like, would you play it again? She's like, yes, I would play it again.
Well, let me ask you this. Was it because I know Devin very well. Mm-hmm. Was it I liked it.
No.
Or was she kind of like, I liked it? Because you can tell.
Yes.
So subtle differences
Yes,
in her
it was
in her
more
demeanor.
than that. It was more than, it was fine. It was more than that.
Okay.
Because she then afterwards talked about, I need to maybe focus on this a little more next time. She talked about a strategy.
Excuse me?
And I was like, okay.
Turned
And
her into a
wasn't,
gamer.
I know, it wasn't on the level of like, she loves Terraforming Mars and Orleans and the detective games.
Yeah.
But for
you
her to
feel
like
justified now in
Yeah.
your collection, and
Yeah,
you
and
can play it with her.
Exactly.
Was that the first time you played it?
That was the second. I played it at game night with Joe and Bill, Deepwater, and then it was one of those games that was on my resolution of like, I want to play it again because I know it didn't hit for you guys, and it hit for me well, and I was like,
you liked it
okay,
a lot.
let me play it again. Let me confirm this, and I had a good time playing it, and again, that now that Devin liked it, that's solidifying it in the collection.
Well, that's good because I remember one of the things you mentioned when we played it before was maybe it wasn't that good with 2, but to hear that you liked it, it kind of solidifies. It kind of helps me. Like, okay, we made the right choice for us.
You just didn't like it.
It just didn't work out. And I'm glad to hear that you did like it, so you and Devin can play it.
Yeah, and
more often.
And what was great, and this, the problem I think that it would have at 3 or 4 is it could go a little long. You only play 6 rounds. So you play twice. You get a set of 9 cards, and you draw 3 cards every round, and you play through those 9 cards twice. And you, what the heck was I talking about? Anyway, the timing. So it would be like, sometimes it takes a long time where you're thinking about what turn you want to do, or like what you want to do on your turn. That can take a long time when it's my turn and you're just sitting there waiting. But with 2, Devin and I played it in an hour. I explained it.
Yeah,
and
I
we
remember
played
it was
in
quick.
an hour.
Yeah.
I remember
So that
about
was
it.
really great.
It was quick. It was hard. I remember it being really hard.
Yeah.
Those
like,
cards
simple
around
rules.
the board on the one board, those cards around the board that you're trying to like score. I was like,
because those resources are the same resources you're trying to turn into points for the same ones you're trying to buy these assistants that help you. So it's like, all right, do I spend my resources on these assistants that might help me out later in the game, or do I just go for points right now? It's a really toit.
I think I remember
resource
that.
management.
I think I remember that as one of the things we weren't crazy about. Not
I
that it
remember
was
that.
tight, because we like games that are tight, but for some reason I remember we were just like, I feel like the second we have any kind of resources, they immediately have to be spent. And we can't figure out, like, we don't get a chance. It felt like, this is just the way it felt, like, to choose, like, okay, I have all this. What can I do with it? I can do that or that. It was like, I have to make 3 of these so I can, get that done. That's all I
Maybe spend the
remember
next
very
turn trying to
little
get
because
more
it was a
Yeah.
while ago, but
Yeah, I
it
don't
was something
remember
like
it
that.
very
That's
well
cool. That's cool. I'm glad that Devin liked it. I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. We played one. So you know that we enjoyed Lorenzo El Magnifico. Jeff, I think you even have this coming.
Monday,
Lorenzo.
tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Crown of Tomorrow.
So that's your game.
So
this week.
I hope so.
it's so good, man. Hopefully we're not pumping it up too much,
Lorenzo.
but it's good. Again, I like it. I think I might like Grand Austria Hotel just a little
Okay,
bit
so
better.
you've made the decision.
But I've played Grand Austria Hotel a lot more.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm even considering which one's better after the first play
big.
is pretty good. It's a pretty testament to that. So because of that, we played it immediately. We just fell in love with it. Well, right after it was over, Natalie forced me to buy
my
up
God.
all iterations of this game that I could find. She held me by spork point while I scoured the website of our FLGS looking for the expansion to no avail. She was about to press inward into my thorax when I remembered, wait, I think there's a card game version. Less thinking and more blind purchasing, shrieked Natalie. At this point, foaming at the mouth with
Like I would
rage and
say
withdrawal.
blind purchase.
The FLGS that I happened to have a gift card for said they actually carried the game in question. So off I went while Natalie stayed back, pacing back and forth, howling at the moon and just scratching every inch of her body while shuddering, Lorenzo! Lorenzo! Home I came with Masters of Renaissance in my hands, and I was met with the now rabid Natalie, who ripped the game from my enfeebled hands and tore into the shrink wrap with her teeth. She digested and passed the plastic wrap while she punched out the components, and as she sniffed the inside of the game box, she started to calm down. The fangs protruding from her mouth started to retract. The back hair remained as a
My
warning
back
to
hair?
never defy her again.
You are a freak.
And soon we were sitting at the table ready to play. In Masters of Renaissance, you were basically playing a distilled version of Lorenzo El Magnifico. It's Lorenzo the card game. In this one,
What's it called?
Masters of Renaissance.
Okay.
it's Masters of Renaissance. In Masters of Renaissance,
None of that happened, by the
there's
way.
a lot less going on. The back hair is a real thing. There is much less going on in this game, as is to be expected, because it's the card game version, you know? However, there are some key changes that really make this feel like its own game. It's just kind of set in like the Lorenzo universe. She's scary, guys. The first is the worker
It's more
placement.
like, can I go to the game store? I put the bed. I
Wait,
put the
that's
kids.
me.
I like
That's
that. Yeah,
me.
that goes-
I put the kids to
excuse
bed,
me.
please. And I was like, okay.
Natalie, can I
Sure.
if it doesn't bother you or doesn't mess up our plans, can I go to the game store?
It was more like that. I was like, all right, gotta get the kids into the bed. You cannot let her do anything. Hey, honey, why don't you go outside and read for a while by yourself? Okay,
Remember
good.
when
Now
I did the
can get in here and
dishes
do this.
today? I've earned one credit. I would like to spend that 1 credit to go to the game store.
Sorry,
today.
that's only 10 miles and the game store is 20 miles. Gotta do something else. So that's me putting the kids to bed. That way I earned my other miles.
And he got there like 5 minutes before they closed, too.
Oh, I loved you.
Well, I called
in
them.
and out.
I called them
okay.
ahead, and I was like, "Look, I can come back if it's too." And they were like, "No, we're open till 10 or whatever it
Yeah.
was. So
Yeah.
you have until 10 or even a little after to come." And they're like, "Do you know what game you want?" And I told them. I was like, "My wife is demanding with
Yeah, of course.
horrible like mouth foaming madness that she wants." Masters of Renaissance, and they couldn't find it. So when I got there, it was me and the 2 employees, and they were just like wandering around for like 15 minutes trying to find it. And so they found it.
The end.
And then I got it.
Yeah.
So, all right. The key difference between this and Lorenzo El Magnifico is that the worker placement aspect that's so amazing about Lorenzo is completely gone. That's
Sounds good.
What do you guys think?
Well, good game. The thing I really liked about the original game is not there in this one.
Instead, you are basically choosing to either gather resources or to buy a card or to run your production line, getting you more resources. That's really funny. There are some really cool and interesting design choices, though, at work here. First of all, if you choose to gather resources, the way you do it is through this marble tray mechanism. And this is really, really cool. If you're looking at the screen on the video right now, you can see the marble tray I'm talking about. If not, it's basically a 3x4 grid of marbles. And I posted this thing on Instagram where I was like, are these marbles or gumballs? And
yeah.
like 85% of people thought they were gumballs.
I
Because
want
they look
gumballs.
Yeah,
just
they
like
do.
gumballs. They look exactly like gumballs, but they're marbles. So, yeah, you can see it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like the gumballs.
Delicious.
So, anyway, this cool marble tray mechanism here. If anybody's played the game Ulm, you'll be familiar with how this mechanism works. But for the other 99.9% of you, here's how it works. There are 12 marbles in the tray, as you can see. And then you decide which column or row you want those resources that you're choosing to come from. So you take the one marble that's left in the tray, and you push all the marbles of the row or column you want. So the marble in your hand is now the first marble in that row or column. And then the last marble that gets pushed out and falls down in the tray. Then you look at, okay, what marbles are left in that row or column, and you take the resources of that thing. And that's really cool. That's like the coolest part of Ulm, which I think was a pretty, I mean, maybe there's other games that do that.
I like that mechanism.
I've never played a
It
game
was
like that
cool.
before, right? I mean, that's a cool mechanism. So then this kind of thing happens. So then you collect the resources, right? But you can't just collect any amount of resources you want. There's this like pyramid thing that you have to abide by. So basically your resources go into this warehouse kind of thing. The warehouse has 3 levels. 1 resource can be held in the top level, 2 can be held in the middle level, and 3 in the bottom, right? So it creates kind of
They
like a
also need
pyramid
the
type
same
thing.
resource
The trick
in
is that
each level. Sorry.
you are spoiling the crap out
I'm
of
so
this.
sorry.
There's a trick. There's
No,
a trick
I'm
coming up. I know what the trick is.
The trick is you can only have 1 resource type per level. So you couldn't have a blue and a purple in the second level. You could only have either 2 blues or 2 purples. Also, you can't have repeating colors in the pyramid at all. So if I have 2 purples in the middle level, I can't then have 3 purples in the bottom level because I already have purple represented in the pyramid. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's a bit tricky the way it works out. So you're basically gathering resources with the marbles, putting the resources into your warehouse, and then spending the resources from your warehouse to buy cards. The cards have points on them, and they also have ways to convert your resources into other bigger, better resources. So when you take the actions to run your production line, you're turning resources from these cards into other resources that you can then put in this other spot that doesn't have to be abiding by that pyramid. So you only have to abide by that pyramid rule when you're taking from the marbles. But when you buy cards, those give you more better resources, and you can put those in a different like storage box thing that you can then use whenever you want. So basically, you're trying to get this engine going of getting and amassing a ton of resources. And there are a couple satisfying moments that can happen in doing this. There was this moment, or maybe this was Lorenzo I'm thinking of. There was a moment in either of the games we played where Natalie was like, I'm screwed. I can do nothing.
Oh,
and I was like, what if you do that? Okay, that was Lorenzo, so I won't talk about that. All right.
We talked about it on the last
So you play
podcast.
until somebody has 7 cards, bought 7 cards, and it's over quick. 7 cards comes quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's a couple things I liked and a couple things I didn't. I really liked the marble resource tray mechanism, that Ulm kind of
sounds cool.
mechanism.
Yeah.
I
That
like
was
that.
really cool. That was the big draw for me when I saw it had that. I was like, oh, I loved that in Ulm. That's going to be cool. It was the most interesting part of Ulm to me, and it's the most interesting part of this game. The difference is the rest of Ulm is much better to me than the rest of this. They're not comparable, but you'll see. Yeah, so you kind of get a little thought of how I'm feeling. So it was also cool and fun to figure out how to manage that resource pyramid in the warehouse. That was kind of cool, because if you ever took resources and you could not put them in your warehouse, your opponent gets benefit. So for instance, if I have 2 blues and I there's a spot, all I can fit is my top warehouse portion, and I take 2 purples. Well, I can only put 1 purple in there.
That's right.
So I had to put the other purple away. By doing that, Natalie gets to advance on this track.
That's cool. That seems
So
like a
it
cool
is cool.
mechanism,
That
too.
was really cool.
Right.
I like that a lot. And so it creates these moments of like, oh gosh, how do I want to figure out what to do? There's also these cards that can kind of break the game, like player powers, which is awesome. You got to kind of buy them, I think. But then once you do, you get this
Yeah.
power. Like Natalie had a power. So normally, if you're looking at the screen, the white marbles are nothing. They do nothing for you. But Natalie had a card that every time you took a white marble, it gave you like a yellow resource
Yeah.
or something.
Right.
And so those
whites
can
were
be
yellow.
really cool. Yeah, whites were yellow. Like you peed on the snow. So that part was cool.
Yeah,
The components
that
are
helped
really
me a lot.
good. The game goes by quickly. It sets up quickly. The whole thing's pretty quick, which is what you want in a game like this. That's about where
Did you
I
say
think the
The end game triggers,
7 cards. Yep.
or you advance.
Oh yeah.
20 on
Or
that
or
track.
if you that track I was talking
Which we
about.
didn't get
If one
anywhere
person
close
advances
to.
all the way on that track,
We
the
were
game
like,
ends that way,
how?
too. Yeah, not a big deal. So I mentioned before the marble tray was the most interesting part. As this is billed as a Lorenzo Il Magnifico, the card game, I couldn't help but draw comparisons, to the Big Brother. And honestly, I was left wanting. I love that worker placement mechanism with the dice from the main game.
Yeah.
And I felt myself saying, this is cool, but it's not as cool. That's like the coolest thing about Lorenzo is those 3 dice you roll, and then now my workers have that value, and I have to figure out what to do. And so they just completely got rid of that, and they have this marble tray. It's just not as cool. That's all. It's good. It's just not as good. If the game didn't have the Lorenzo name, I was talking with Jeff about this a little before the show. If the game didn't have the Lorenzo name attached to it, I might not have felt this way. I mean, there are enough similarities that it probably couldn't be billed any other way than Lorenzo the card game because they're very similar in a lot of ways. But I did think it was good. I just didn't think it was great. All right. It's a bit too simplistic. It needed a bit more. It was literally just one giant resource conversion puzzle. It felt like that's literally all it was. Like I was just getting resources to turn into other resources, and that was the end of the game. So there were some cool ideas mechanically, but for me, it's just kind of, I would never reach for this over Lorenzo, probably ever. Because Lorenzo's not so much longer, and it's not so much more difficult to set up, I don't think. It is different, but I think every time I would play this, I would just wish I was playing Lorenzo. So what about you, Natalie? What did you think of Masters of Renaissance? This is Masters of Renaissance.
You basically took the words right out of my mouth.
Like with the foaming? I took the foam out of your mouth?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I won't go into great detail because we pretty much feel the same way. I loved the marble tray as a way to get resources. That was super cool. It's, I have like the memory of a goldfish. So you were reminding me last night about this game.
She does.
And I'm like,
it's so crazy.
Like, I remember the feeling of like, yeah, it was pretty good. Like it was okay, good, not great. But when I was looking at it last night again, like looking at the pictures and stuff, I was like, this seems like a game I would like.
Me too.
Like everything about it seems like I would like it.
paper,
And
it's,
that
like,
made me
awesome.
wonder.
Tony wondered.
If we didn't play Lorenzo first, would I have liked it better? Or is it because we're comparing it and it has the Lorenzo name attached that I didn't like it as much because we were coming off that high of Lorenzo, and then compared to that, this just wasn't as good? Or if it was, like you said, if we played it first, or if it was not attached to Lorenzo's name, would we like it better?
Well, I already sold it in my auction, so we can't play it again.
So
Oh, you did? Yeah.
I really wondered that because
Play one more time before it goes.
I mean, it
Yeah, we
was
could.
fun, and I don't know.
Natalie, I have a question
Yeah.
for you. So I know that we always joke about you not remembering games.
Yeah.
Have there been a lot of games that you love that you haven't remembered? Like the
That I
first time,
haven't?
the
That's a
first
good
time you played
question.
Castles of Burgundy, the first time you played Istanbul, did you remember that 2 days after?
I think so.
So I think
things
maybe
that I
you forgetting,
really-
you're just like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't wanna
That's
remember
a
that.
good point, because Lorenzo, I didn't forget that. And I loved that.
And you did that
Astute
once. Yeah.
observation. What are all the mechanisms of Lorenzo? Just kidding. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point.
It's okay to forget those games. So if Natalie forgets the
If
game,
it's
you can sell
forgettable,
it.
hates it.
I don't like
That's
it.
Natalie's columns. Does she
Yeah.
remember it or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, please remember Star Wars Destiny.
Star Wars
So you
what?
made me
I don't
play
remember.
it over and over and over.
Star Wars mandatory?
You begged me to play it on TTS with you.
What? Why don't you just play it in person?
Well, this is before we lived together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did. We did, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've pretty much felt the same as you. I mean, it seems like a good game, and it was a good game, but it just wasn't. It didn't blow us away. And I actually have a question for you. Are there any games that are related to other games that you love that you would ever keep both of?
Yeah, so I had both. Do I still have Castles of Burgundy, the dice game? That's a really good, roll and write implementation of Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah, I remember we played that and we liked it.
I think I gave it to Jeremy because Jeremy loved it. That's right. I gave it to Jeremy.
Then we never played it again, and I was like, I don't really see us playing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I remember I kind of want to play it again, but then we just didn't.
Well, here's one right here. Keyflow and Keyflower are Keyflow is basically the card
Yeah,
game version of
that's true.
Keyflower.
We should do an episode. I just wrote
that's
that down
interesting.
about these one-off games. There seems to be so many of them in the last 5 years of something the dice game, something the card game, and
Yeah.
and I would always lean toward just the game.
What about
regular
Istanbul?
one.
I haven't played the dice game. Did you
Again,
like it?
it's good.
But you'd rather play.
I would it's I would always I think rather play Istanbul.
Yeah.
Because I just love Istanbul.
Right. And would
But
it be worth keeping both?
I don't
your
know if I would keep
collection?
both.
Yeah.
But the fact that people in our group, so you have Istanbul, Bill has Istanbul, that's great, and Dave has the dice game.
Yeah.
So yes, I guess it maybe itch is a different scratch or scratch is a different itch. Because the dice game can be played in 40 minutes versus... But it's hard when these games are tied together to not be like, I'd rather just be playing Istanbul.
not
I'd rather be
compare
playing Lorenzo.
them.
I'd rather just be playing Castles of Burgundy.
Right.
Yeah.
Where like if the game was just called something completely different,
Yeah, does it have a
Pending
shot?
copyright
Does it
issues.
have a
Right.
shot?
Instead
Yeah.
of saying like Lorenzo, the card game, you can be like,
Masters of Renaissance.
yeah, could it just be called
like
if
Masters
it didn't
of
have that
Renaissance
tag?
by the same designers as Lorenzo. You know what I mean? And so you see
Yeah, I don't know.
similarities because it's by the same designer, but it's not like connected.
Yeah, or I have
not like-
even King Domino for how simple of a game King Domino is. I have King Domino Duel.
Yeah.
I have both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I would rather play. I
Yeah.
feel similar about them both, but
Sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'm looking around right now and trying to see if do I have any games like that I can think of where I still have the card game version or the dice game version. One implementation that I like just as much of a game that I like almost better maybe. Actually, definitely better is Codenames Duet
Yeah,
versus
I was gonna say Codenames
versus
is the only
regular
one I can
Codenames,
think
and
of.
I love regular Codenames,
Yeah.
but Codenames Duet I think is so much more fun personally.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Masters of Renaissance. The Lorenzo El Magnifico, the card game. So
Yeah.
Jeff, what about you, man? What you got? What you got for me?
I played a game called Far Away. Far Away is a game you might
space,
never
space,
heard
space,
of.
space, space.
It-
Far away.
Far Away. It had a
Oh.
it was on Kickstarter, and it just shipped and went out. And Emily from Cherry Picked Games was nice enough to send me a copy of Far Away.
Okay.
And let me first buy
Whoa. 2-player co-op?
2-player co-op, strictly
Ooh.
2-player.
Ryan's
Co-op
favorite
game.
thing
I
lately.
like that.
And I will. You guys are welcome to play it. Not that I didn't like it, but you guys
Yeah.
are welcome to play it. But
Yeah.
so let me first by
like it.
saying I opened this box and there is a shit ton of stuff in this box.
I'm looking at this picture right now.
box-
There is a lot of things here.
This box weighs 5 pounds, and it's the size of a TMG box, so a size of Homesteaders or
Sure.
Orleans or Yokohama. It's that size. It is jam packed with bits and chits and hexes
Yeah, I see
and
tiles
cardboard
and-
and dice and I 3D printed some little astronauts to use as our
did?
player pieces.
Oh,
So we printed
cool.
that, which was really cool. So those have to be like jammed in the box as well. It is. I was like putting the box away, and I was
It's
like,
a
"Great, I
struggle
did
to
it!"
get it in.
And then I looked, and I'm like, forgot like 4 bags of cardboard pieces. I'm like, oh. So I had to like. So it is. You are getting $50 worth of stuff in that
yeah,
box.
look at all these punch boards here.
So
holy cow.
If you're interested, you can go to their website, cherrypickgames.com, and you can check it out. Emily, who runs their Instagram, is extremely nice. It was funny. I was having a little conversation with her on the Instagram chat, and I asked a couple questions, and she sent back like a video.
Huh.
And I was like, did you have that like prepped and ready? If someone asked you this question before and you just sent me a video, she's like, no, I'm doing something for our,
she recorded
Instagram
a video personally
to
for
send it.
your questions?
to just be like, just answer one of the questions. I was like,
We're not doing
I was like,
things
how
right
nice
here. Okay.
I'm like, that's so
holy
nice.
Cow. Wow.
I'm like,
that's
sometimes I
amazing.
wait a day to respond. So Far Away, like you said, is a 2-player science fiction exploration game where players are taking the role of low-budget explorers.
Yeah, it says boldly go where no one has returned from you.
Yeah, so you're working for this Federation
Futurama.
alliance, and so the game takes place in missions. So it comes with 8 missions in the base game. I'm not sure if they're going to expand or keep doing that. I'm sure it depends on the success of the game.
Yeah.
This guy's
And-
name is Fuzzbuttus Platyrinachos.
Oh, one of the creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you take the first mission is a very tutorial like mission. It's very basic, and then they ramp up after that, and they take a little longer. Each mission takes, it says, somewhere between an hour and a half to 3 hours, so it can be an experience.
yeah.
And what's kind of cool is it's not necessarily like a legacy game where you're destroying things or adding things to the board, but there is a slight campaign where if you complete one mission really well, you'll get money to use on the next mission to like add more buildings or to add stuff for future missions. So that's kind of cool. There's like a log in the back where you write stuff down of how much money you have and you can spend that. And so what you're doing is you're basically discovering this new planet. So you start on a crash site, which is a hex, and you explore the tiles around you, and you take turns taking turns. And you can move. So you move and explore, or you can fight these creatures. You interact with these creatures. You can build buildings on the planet that give you more resources. You can collect resources.
Sounds really cool.
And it's and these creatures, what's funny is you'll go and you'll you'll interact with these creatures, and they're all different. There's dozens of them. That's where like there's so much pieces of there's dozens of us. there are dozens of these creatures, and they've created cards and pieces of cardboard for all of them because they move around the map.
Yeah, I see there's little tiles for all these.
Yeah, there's little tiles for all the tiles are different. So there's stacks of usually about 4. There's 4 or 5 creatures per, or 4 or 5 tiles per creature.
I like the artwork too. It's like a stenciled outline.
Yes, it's super cool. It's like they just found the creature and they're like kind of like sketching it. Like this is what the creature looks like.
Yeah.
And each creature has its cool like species name, like you just read some.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous to pronounce or trying to pronounce them.
Yeah.
The creature cards have like a little snippet about what the creature mainly does, and there's some icons about this creature will, attack first and then it'll move, or this creature likes to be near forest tiles or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you go back and forth and you take 3 turns each, and then the game sort of like, then the round ends, and and then you're supposed to take control of the creatures. So there's a creature board where you're role playing what the creatures would do.
Is that the hunger and the happiness kind of thing I'm looking at?
You'll get that at the end of the round.
Okay.
So the cards kind of steer you toward what this creature might do. So you take the roll and go, all right, this creature likes and would probably eat the green resource. So you move that creature and you eat the green resource and you move it off the board. So you are like role playing that. One time one of the creatures that I was controlling, I was like, Devin, it's got to attack you. I'm like, this is an angry creature. It's attacking you. So we had to like, you kind of have to get into the role of that.
Yeah.
You can, I'm assuming you can play it like easy and just move them all away. But that's not, you want to like, you need to get into the game. So it is really what you make it. And at the end of that phase, if you're not on the same tile as each other, you gain loneliness. If you haven't eaten anything that round, you're
hungry.
You get hungry, and if those ever get to the max, the game ends. So you either
that's
complete
you.
your
That's not
missions-
your creatures,
right? Yeah. So that's like your board. So if you ever get too hungry, too lonely, or you die of injury, the mission ends, and you get a different success thing, or you can redo the mission if you want to try to make it successful.
So you're playing like yourselves and the creatures.
Yes. And what's really funny is because you're so low budget in this game and you're low budget explorers, that they didn't invest, and the rulebook even says it, they didn't invest in communication systems. So unless you're on the same hex, you can't talk to each other.
To anybody.
So the first mission, it kind of says, to get a hang of the game, just you can talk to each other.
Sure.
And what you can do, and what kind of makes sense, is you maybe describe your actions of what you're doing, but you can't talk like strategy.
Yeah.
You can't talk like you were in the game because you're too far away.
But you can say like, I'm going to go here.
Yeah,
and do
like,
this.
all right, my first action, I'm going to move here. I'm going to explore. An anomaly comes out, whatever.
Right.
And
Cool.
you take those actions. But you can't say, hey, Natalie, I want you to go over there. You can't say that because you're not near each other to do it.
Right.
So there are points in the game where you need to go, all right, I need to meet back up at this hex. Let's end our turn at this hex so we can talk to each other. Which was kind of unique in that way.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I need to think about my thoughts, and this game just oozes creativity. It is
sounds like
from
it.
opening the rule book, and on the back of the rule book, I think it even says like Federation Alliance, and it's like, you'll be fine. The whole thing is just about like, don't worry about it. You're gonna be fine, or even that thing about like,
Which is what you say to an expendable employee.
to go somewhere that no one's ever returned from, and it's just, there was so much time and effort put into making the creatures and making the components and even just writing the rule book. As I'm reading the rule book, which is again huge, but once you play it, you get it. You start to get it. But there's a lot of pieces because it describes some certain missions, and so there's a lot going on in the rule book. But there's some creativity, and like it just talks about how you probably will die, and it'll be okay. And like, so there's really, and everything has like an acronym. So instead of just rolling the die, you're rolling the deterministic interaction evaluator, and you roll that instead. So like everything has, or the places you put the cards on is called the cardboard. But the acronym CARD stands for something.
Yeah,
so
sure.
They
I did see that. Yeah, CARD.
They've thought of, or like the ecosystem that has the animals in it. ECO stands for something too. So they've had like, there was a lot of thought in all of that process, which was very, very cool.
That's cool.
Like Ryan said earlier, the art is very cool. So if you're looking at the video, the art is awesome. I loved using the little, so normally they just have little tiles. The tile has like an astronaut on it, and you move that around. I loved using that, the 3D printed one. And what I think is cool about this game is you can really just make it what you want it to be. If you want to be this highly interactive game where you're fighting off these creatures, then you can control the creatures like that.
Yeah.
There could be a downfall to wanting to just like win by making the creatures just do things that they normally wouldn't do. But that's again what you make of the game.
Right.
I'm kind of excited to see where the next mission takes us. It didn't click for Devin as much. She wasn't like fired up about moving the creatures around.
You just did.
I think she wanted a little more direction on what the creatures would do, which I get.
Instead of having to role play them.
Instead of having to be like, well, what might they do?
Yeah.
So I think she wanted more direction there, which I can see.
Yeah.
There is like a chart in the rule book that you can reference and say, if it's an aggressive creature, how about you do this? So it gives you a little bit, but I didn't want to keep looking at the rule book, so we just decided to go with it.
I clicked on the comments, and the first 6 comments are 10.
Yeah, it's
Love it. Me and my wife are so in love with it. So much fun. One of the best 2-player games I've played in a while, and I do own quite a few.
I think that it's a game again that if you like exploration games, and it's nowhere near, I don't want to call it a 4X game, but if you like moving to tiles and seeing what's on it and interacting with everything that's there, this is really cool.
Sweet.
And again, you get just a massive amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Cherry-picked games, huh?
Cherry-picked games.
Alexander Zherabek.
If you want to see,
is the designer.
a game again called Far Away.
Cool.
That
Yeah.
is cool.
I
Would
like
you
that.
could you play certain missions over again?
Yeah, you could. I think
would
I
you
would never
want
play
to?
the tutorial ever again.
Yeah.
That was very simple, but I would play other ones again because
Yeah.
nothing will ever come out the same. So you're rolling dice to see what a creature's come out. Every time you explore, you roll a different die, so that would show maybe instead of a creature coming on that tile last time, an anomaly or I can build a building on that one, or some resource
Yeah.
pops up on that one. So it would play very differently. The mission objectives would be exactly the same, but it would still play out very differently, I
Right.
think, every time.
That's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. Far away.
Away.
Far away.
All right. Well,
What you got?
we played another one. We played a game by Burnt Island Games called In the Hall of the Mountain King. Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah.
bum,
Also,
bum,
should
bum,
Alexa
bum, bum.
play it?
Alexa, play In the Hall of the Mountain King.
I'm very disappointed we didn't play the song during the gameplay.
I know. We're so dumb.
Yeah, you play it the whole time.
Yeah. Okay, come on, Alexa.
Oh my
we're
God,
recording a
Alexa,
show
you're
here.
ruining our life.
Well, it's a slow
All right, enough.
beginning.
Alexa, stop.
We'll just do
Here it is. Bum, 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 bum. In the Hall of the Mountain King is a good game. Okay. Oh, I just spoiled.
And next,
That's also,
Yeah.
that's in Trolls. I just realized.
Yeah.
In what are they called? Burgles?
The Bergens.
The Bergens?
Anyway, In the Hall of the Mountain King is a game that just came out last year by one of my favorite designers, Jay Cormier. He's one half of the duo that created Belfort, Akrotiri, and Junkart. This game looked
love these.
amazing from the jump, and I just missed the Kickstarter for it, and I had so much regret. Last year, Deepwater Joe was at a game store in Ann Arbor right before Nerdfest, and he texted me and he said, "Hey, do you want anything?" And I knew that this game was just hitting the stores, and I was like, "Hey, is In the Hall of the Mountain King there?" And he was like, "Yes, it is. The Kickstarter version, in fact, is here, and it's all the bells and whistles, the expansion that's with it, and everything, and it's it was a lot of money." And I was like, "Yes, please, get me that." I had him scoop it up. I've been wanting to get it at the table ever since. A couple things of note here. Like I said, I have the Kickstarter version, which has some of the best components
good.
I've ever seen. Dude, it's got metal coins. Oh,
Ooh, metal coins.
Yeah, it does.
Hey-o.
It's an absolutely stunning production. I'm just gonna click through a couple of these pictures here, and you can see how.
I like the
It's-
box art.
Oh, dude,
I haven't
the
even seen the components, but the
Oh,
box
it
art is so
is
cool.
Components are awesome.
beautiful. The game is just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. So the other caveat is that Natalie and I played the cooperative version, and that's just a variant that comes with the Cursed Mountain expansion. And there's definitely differences, and I'll talk about them and what they are. But just so you're aware, we played the cooperative variant that is not necessarily the way the game was originally designed for. Okay, so in the Hall of the Mountain King, players are competing to earn the most victory points by digging tunnels, enlisting the help of trolls to gather resources and unearth valuable statues that are higher up this mountain. If you're looking at the video right now, you can see the board. The board is it's representative of a mountain. Okay, so the outside edge is like in black, and that's like the low edge of the mountain. Then it goes to the next color, which is I'm pretty sure representative of the mountain getting to its peak. Okay, and the yellow section is like the top of the mountain. I don't
It's
know if
like,
you
is
guys
it
can
like
see that.
topography?
Yeah, but yeah, like a topography, exactly. It's not like an actual 3D thing. So the player with the most points at the end of the game wins. In the cooperative scenario, there's no points. So, but it's still the same game. We're still enlisting trolls. We're still digging tunnels. But instead of scoring points, we're trying to achieve some goals before the mountain's curse becomes too strong and overwhelms us. So here's how the game works. This game, like Masters of Renaissance, it's nothing like Masters of Renaissance. This is called In the Hall of the Mountain King. In the Hall of the Mountain King has some super cool and interesting mechanisms. Essentially, in this game, you play in phases, round and round, over and over, until either we win or lose. In the competitive game, you play until players complete their Trolls Moot, which is like your card pyramid tableau-y thing in front of you. In the first phase, you get to activate a spell card. And I just had a picture of the spell cards I want to show, because those are really cool. In the first phase, you activate a spell card if you want to. And these spell cards break the game in a cool way for you, like a beneficial way for you. And for instance, one spell might let you dig a tunnel that's one size larger than normal. What?
I was just dig a tunnel.
Dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel. Then after that phase, you can either recruit a troll from the Horde. And the Horde is basically this pyramid of trolls cards. And it's just funny because both games we talk about have pyramids, have like a pyramid thing in them. Like the Pyramid Resource Warehouse from that. And this game is all about pyramids as well. So you can either recruit a troll from this troll horde pyramid thing, or you can dig a tunnel, dig a tunnel by placing a different shaped polyomino tile onto the board. And that was the main draw for me when I was first researching the game. It's polyominoes. And then all the rest of the theme is super cool. It's got these spells, it's got all this cool stuff. I was like, oh my God, this looks so good. Recruiting a troll is awesome because when you take it, you place it into what's called your Trolls Moot. And it's just this weird word for your tableau. I know. Calling
Trolls
it Trolls
Moot?
Moot.
Trolls Moot?
Yeah, Trolls Moot, I believe is what it's called. I'm trying to find a picture. Here it is. It's awesome because when you place that card, so first you start the game with 4 cards on this bottom row. If you're looking at the video, you can see you have 4 cards in a row on the bottom. And that's the bottom of your Trolls Moot. Each troll card that you take has resources on them. This is how you're getting resources. When you recruit a troll, you place it in the middle and above 2 existing troll cards below it. So if I have 4 troll cards in a row, I take a new one, I place it, between the first 2 or between the second and third. Yeah, like you're building a pyramid. Yeah. It's really cool. The cool thing about this is that when you place a troll, you get the resources shown on that card you played, as well as all the resources shown on the cards that are below it. And then if it's even higher, you get the resources on the cards below those cards. So it's this cascading. Damn it, Natalie! It's this cascading resource conversion thing that's just really satisfying. It's really cool when you're like, we need all this kind of stuff. How are we going to do this? I know if I buy that troll card and I put it here, it's going to just give me a bevy of crap that I can use. It's so cool.
That's cool.
The goal is to dig up the mountain to move these statues and earn points. In the cooperative game, though, the game just fights back at you and by these curse cards. So I talked about these spell cards that you can get that break the game for you in a cool way. Well, every round you draw in the cooperative game, you draw a curse card, and that breaks the game in a way that's terrible for you. Every round a new curse comes out, and it just completely screws up your plans. They last all game unless you remove them, and you must remove them because if there are ever 7 curses out at one time, you immediately lose. Likewise, if the curse deck runs out, you also just immediately lose. So the game is completing objectives. You have to get a certain amount of different colored statues on the different levels of the mountain before either the curse deck runs out or there are 7 curses in the pile. Okay, that's the game. And again, it's basically the same as the competitive game. It just doesn't have the curses. In the competitive game, you're just playing against each other. And you're just trying to get points.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just removes the points and adds a scenario.
Yeah.
Right? It's basically, but it's basically the same. So what I liked, this game it was really fun. I really enjoyed that Trolls Moot and how that worked with the cascading resources. That was just really
Sounds cool.
clever.
I like that.
It was really clever. It was very satisfying to place that high troll or that troll up high and then only to have 7 cards below it activate and give you resources. And you're just like, oh, I'm Scrooge McDuck, which is awesome. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the spell cards. There's a lot of them and they're just very powerful, almost as powerful as the curses, which I also loved because they screwed you up. And Natalie will probably talk about this in a minute, but it was still really fun. So many times we thought we had the game won. This is what you're fine. And then a curse will come out that would just completely screw up the plan
my
we
God,
had.
it was
Like
so-
for the exact
so
thing. We did win.
You did
we
win?
did win. But it was we thought we had it. We're like, we got this. And then a card come out. We're like, oh my God, we're gonna lose.
is the worst card
Now
ever.
we're gonna
Yeah.
lose.
And then we 3 turns
figure
earlier
out.
if it wasn't really
But that was
smart.
cool because then we're
Yeah.
like, we deal with that curve. We're like, okay, we're instead of going straight at our objective, now we have to come around it. Okay, and figure out all these ways. Okay, we did it. Boom. Now next turn we got it. And then the next turn card comes out, ruins that. We're like, oh God, now we have to go back and do this again.
Yes.
The components are incredible. The art is amazing. It's by Kwanchai Moria, who's a fantastic artist who's done games like Catacombs, and he did the box artwork for Cryptid.
Yeah, I
He's
can
done a ton. He's done a ton
Yeah.
of games, and I'm not giving him enough credit because he's done way more games than that. The Kickstarter version, dude. Oh man, holy cow!
So what's
It's
different
got
about
metal
it?
coins. It's just the components.
Okay.
There's metal coins. The components are shaped like what they're representing, like all the components, right? In the retail version, I believe they're just cubes,
Oh, really?
and I think the coins are probably cardboard.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like they have like these tiny little hatchets that are shaped like tiny little.
Oh, that's
hatchets
cool.
Yes.
and, like-
That's sweet.
Yeah. Either way, I think you're going to be fine
Oh,
and
yeah.
very impressed with the components. But so it should be of note. The Kickstarter version that I got was purchased at a local game store.
Mm-hmm.
So I think game stores might,
Well, there's
have
usually right on Kickstarter. Isn't there usually there's
retail
a backer
option?
level, right? Oh, or a retail
level.
that
So, yeah, if a
that
retail
says you can
store
buy
would buy-
10 of them. Yeah, so I'm gonna buy 10 of them for X amount of
Yeah.
dollars, and then they show up. So that's
So
probably
there's a
what
good
they
chance you can get a hold of the Kickstarter version. Okay, so what I didn't like. There isn't a ton that I didn't like, but if I had to pick one thing, I would say that the polyomino portion of the game was actually my least favorite portion.
did. Whoa.
Yeah, that was the forgettable part of the game. And here's why. It just wasn't quite as engaging as everything else because when you think of a polyomino game, you think of a puzzle you have to figure out, right? Like in Patchwork, you got to put these things in such a
Yeah.
way so I don't have empty spaces.
Right, you're usually like filling in a space.
Yeah,
kind
or
of
like in a
thing, or
like
arranging.
yeah, exactly. Like in Ubongo, you have to fill in the exact space with your puzzle pieces before the next person. It's like this tension.
Yeah.
But there's not really much of a puzzle in this game. It's just this big grid, and you can place the tiles however you want
more
to.
like you're-
You just have to be able to pay for them.
Yeah, and it's more like it's not really a puzzle. It's more like building a path to move your statues.
Yeah.
along.
So
Okay.
it's not. It wasn't exactly what I expected
Yeah.
out of the polyomino portion of the game. When this is not a total knock on it, I was expecting it to be like, man, I got to do all this stuff, and then I got this puzzle of these polyomino pieces, but there's no puzzle.
Yeah.
You can play anywhere just as long as you have the resources to play with the only caveat being in the competitive game, you can't build directly adjacent to another player, which I could see in a 4 or 5 because it plays 5 in a 4 or 5 player game. That could create a little bit of a puzzle. Because you can't touch another
Yeah,
player.
makes sense.
The board's big enough though, especially
Like,
in a
we didn't
2
even come
or
near
even a
each
3-player
other.
game. I don't think you'd even go anywhere near each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall though, I really enjoyed my play of this, and I'm excited to play it again. I think I'd give it, if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 7.5 right now. It's better than good, not great. It's not totally in that great category yet, but I do think it can get there with more
Really?
plays. What?
I thought
Natalie-
you'd like it better than
Yeah.
That was what I thought that really meant. I thought that really was a little surprised it was low.
Well, it's funny because I'm talking about it and I'm like, yeah, I like it a lot. And then I went to give it a rating and I'm like, I don't think I could give it an 8 yet. I want to play it again,
that. Okay.
you know? But it's definitely better than good, not great. I'm not like thinking about getting rid of it at all. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I want to play it again. So what did you think?
Okay. I really liked it. I might give it an 8.
Okay.
Really?
No, I had a great time playing this. I agree. The components were amazing. It was really fun working together. I think my favorite part about it was the curses, even though they were bad.
I know, I agree with you.
They made it so fun and like challenging, and the obstacles they threw at us were just like,
Tell
Okay,
a couple
so
of what like screwed us
basically,
over.
like Ryan said, you're trying to get these statues on certain levels of the mountain.
Yeah, if you're looking at the video right now, you can see all these statues and they're beautiful. Jeff, look at this real quick.
So we're trying to
like they're it's awesome.
That's really
we're
nice,
kind of like
yeah.
towards the end of the game, trying to like
Doesn't
complete
look so
these
good.
final statues. And, we make a plan together and we say, okay, I know you just need to buy this like 2-piece polyomino piece and put it here, and then it'll connect, these paths, and you can get the statue where it needs to go. Okay, next
Yeah.
curse. not allowed to buy 2-piece polyomino pieces.
Yeah, we're like,
damn
oh my
it.
God, that
We're
ruins
like,
everything.
Oh, that's okay. We'll just buy a 3-piece. Next curse, can't buy 3-piece. We're like, what? Oh my God. And then we're like, okay, finally, like, to get rid of these curses, you have to kill them with like resources. And so, we get rid of these curses so that we can buy the pieces we need. And now we're ready to get this like pedestal thing that you have. No, that's not what it was. Oh no. Yeah, that's what it was. We had to get this pedestal thing to take out 2 of the, I don't know,
Troll moots.
objective things that we had to do. At the same time, we're like, okay, cool. We figured out the path. We can get there. We just need to put this pedestal piece down. Next curse, can't place pedestals. And we're like, oh my God.
In the section that we wanted to.
Right, yeah, in the section that we wanted to. And so things kept happening like that, which like, it never made us mad. We were just like, what? And we're like, okay, how do we figure this out?
Yeah, in fact,
Gotta get
we
rid of
liked
that.
that. Because
Yeah, it
honestly,
made it
if that
more
wasn't the
fun.
case, I think it would have been over. We would have won and we would have been like, huh, that was easy.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
all the curses were like all bad. Like there was so many
Very
times
bad.
where we were like, there was some that were like worse than others, so that determined which ones we wanted to get rid of. But they were all bad. Like there's those 3 spells like Ryan talked about, because one curse said that you have to flip 2 of them over, and that wasn't so bad compared to the other ones. Most of the game we only had one spell option. You know what I mean?
Normally, I didn't say this, but normally you have access to 3 of these game-breaking spells that you can pick between.
Yeah.
And yeah, very early in our play, 2 of them were flipped over the whole game. And we only had 1.
Right.
And it was still really good. If you're looking at the video right now, real quickly, you can see the component difference between the retail version and the Kickstarter version. And so it's not that bad. Here's the retail version up top, I believe. And this is the bottom of the Kickstarter, and then over here, this is the Kickstarter version of the other components. So you can see like this little hatchet is cool. These are the metal coins, which are awesome. They're all shaped that way. But I think if you so they're even still shaped that way in the retail version. It's just wooden, I think. So you are going to be completely happy regardless of which version you get.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, it was just really fun, like working together. I mean, I know we played the cooperative version. I am kind of curious about the competitive version.
Bi-curious?
Because we had a great time playing this version and just like working together. Like, at the beginning, you kind of took care of the statues at the beginning, and then towards the end,
That's it.
what?
That's it right there. You just said it. Thank you. Yay. Because when you were like, really, only a 7.5?
Yep,
that's
you're
why.
right. You're right.
That's
I
the
remember.
reason why.
Because at the end, he was kind of
Uh-oh.
like, I feel like you're doing the rest of the game, and I'm kind of just sitting here.
I was supporting, and it was cool because we were
Yeah.
working together. But
like, we
all
only
the
need to
good
do-
stuff I did at the very beginning, and then I wasn't involved
Yeah.
in like actually getting us to where we needed to go at
I
the
mean,
end.
he wasn't involved in getting us where we needed to go, but you were still like essential. Like you were helping
agreed.
killing off curses. You were helping
I know.
like doing other things.
I know.
And trading in like
I know.
resources so that we could do that stuff.
It just wasn't as
I
fun
know.
as what you were
Yeah,
doing.
You're right. I understand, and I remember.
And
that
so,
part.
and something different about that versus like Orleans
Yeah.
Invasion, where we're both just completely engaged the whole time.
Right.
And that's why I want to play it again, because I did really like the
Yeah.
experience, but that part of it, and I can't believe I forgot about that. That part of it it didn't tank it, but that's what's keeping it right now from this first play to being a better
another
game.
thing, just a random thing in the game that I thought was like kind of cool was, as far as the resources, we're building our own like pyramids, collecting our own resources, but we also had that pool of community resources that we could like dip into.
That's only in the cooperative.
Yeah.
version.
So we wanted to use our own first, because if you use your own and then you refill, you get more. If there's already a resource on your pyramid and you refill, you don't get another one.
Yeah, so
And
the trolls
Okay.
moot when
You know,
when the guys get
maximum.
resources, they just appear
Yeah.
on the cards. And if you
Okay.
don't use those resources by the time you activate more trolls, you don't get more resources. They just stay there.
Right. And so it was cool because it's like, oh, I have 2, of these red resources and I need 3. Oh, I'll just take one from the community and now I can complete this thing. And,
Yep. That was really
that was
cool.
cool. And
You're
there's
right.
different ways like to refill the community resources as well. And I thought overall it was awesome. It was really fun.
Do you think next time when you pull it out, will you play competitive?
I don't think so.
Ooh,
you?
I feel like Natalie wants to play the competitive
Do you
version.
really?
I don't necessarily think like next time we play, but I would like to give it a shot just to see.
Yeah,
the
see what the difference is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
all
'Cause
right.
I wonder
Maybe
if you
we
would-
play with like more people. We
That
can play the
might Jeff's right though. That might
version.
fix a possible.
'Cause then you're doing your own
Because then
thing.
I can
Yeah.
do my own thing.
Yeah.
The curses sounds really cool. I wonder,
it was awesome.
when you're playing co-op games. I feel like that makes memorable moment. When bad things happen in co-op games, that makes memorable moments.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like about co-op games is, one of the one that comes to my brain quickly is ghost stories.
Yes,
like
man.
where you just feel like you have a grip on the game. Okay, we're doing well,
Right,
and then
throw
it's
the
like
wrench in it.
ghost. This thing takes your die away, and you're like, oh my gosh.
What do we?
And
what
yes,
the
it's
heck?
hard
Instead
and
of
frustrating.
being like, damn it, you're just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, now what do we do now?
But at least it's like, and then at least you're in a group where you can be
Right.
like, no, together. Instead of
Right.
just getting your own curse and being like
Absolutely.
mad by yourself while everyone's
Mm-hmm.
happy, and you're like, oh,
Right.
well, I can't move, or can't
You're
do
right.
anything.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
worse
So-
when it's competitive when you're playing cooperatively.
Which is, and it's not in the competitive game, luckily,
Yeah.
which is cool. The competitive game is just, me versus you, and you're
Right.
trying to, it's more of a race in this game because you're trying to be the first to get to the inward spots of the mountain to get these big points.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I would be
cool
interested to
game.
hear a follow up with you guys
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
play it
we're gonna
again.
play it
or if
again
you
for
do it
sure.
competitively.
I liked it enough to play it again. Were you doing Tetris?
No, I was doing it in the Hollow Mountain King.
Oh, I thought you were. Dun, 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 dun,
Said
dun,
do-
dun.
do- 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 do-
Bum,
do-
bum,
do- do- do-
Bum,
do-
bum,
do-
bum,
do-
bum,
do- do-
bum,
do-
bum, bum, bum. It's now time, dear gamers, for the Narcissist Nook. Just kidding. Of course, we know this is a complete marketing ploy for us. Please listen. You might hear your name. Let's hear what you have to say in this episode's Instagram inbox.
Welcome to the Instagram inbox. I am the Mad Board Gamer, and guys, I have a question for you.
For us?
Before we get into some responses, I want
Yeah.
to know how you feel about snacks while playing board games.
That's a
love eating
contentious contention.
Yeah, and if you're okay eating them, what snack are you eating?
So it depends for me. It depends on having snacks at the table. I'm totally fine with because I've totally relaxed over the years on my, militant, kind of way about my don't bet my cards. Don't, the box has to be perfect and you
Yeah.
don't drink around my games and all
really
that kind of
has
stuff.
relaxed a
I've
lot.
relaxed so much because I realized what a dummy. I mean, man, let's have fun. It kills the fun a little bit if you're constantly policing people, So what I do is I like to just kind of let people be their own best, because all my friends and everybody now, they get it. No one's going to be just like an idiot. And if they are, you kind of like, hey, can you like rinse off your Cheetos fingers before you touch my
Yeah.
game? Like that's it. Other than that, I've never had a problem with food around games, my games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
long as
I'm
you're
cool
respectful.
with every snack. My favorite kinds of snacks are the saltier kinds of snacks. So I like the peanut butter pretzels.
Yep.
Yeah,
Them
he does.
shits are so
Yeah.
good.
I like lots of snacks.
What about you, man?
Well, Natalie's talking about snacks. She just likes lots of snacks.
You said you like all types of snacks.
Yeah, but I was gonna name some.
Well, you
Let's hear 'em.
can. Raise your
I
hand
like-
next time.
I know what one you're going to say is, and I'm going to agree with you.
it-
Keep going.
Twizzlers.
Yeah.
And lately I've been into those pretzel bits, like the honey
Oh,
mustard.
man,
and
those are
onion
so
ones.
Are they
good.
just like crushed up pretzels?
Yeah.
Those ones
Those,
like
yeah.
the
broken
Snyder's.
pieces. Yeah,
Snyder's,
those
yeah.
are so good. That's
Yeah,
my
those
like,
are so-
thing I've been into lately.
them buffalo
I just
ones.
like snacks in general.
Yeah,
all of them.
yeah. I'm more of snacking's okay. Meals, not so much. I don't need you like eating
Yeah.
Agreed.
like
we
yeah.
can
steak and potatoes,
Like a
Right.
full rotisserie
Yeah, I don't
chicken.
need that. Yeah, I'm just doing that. Or even the greasy foods could go away. Snacking is okay. Like I'm cool. I think pretzels is good.
Yeah, saltier stuff is the best.
I'm
'cause
good with any candy.
dry.
Yeah.
Licorice.
Yeah.
Sometimes Devin and I eat like Mike and Ike's. You guys ever eat Mike and Ike's?
Oh.
Those sit on the
My mama
table in like a
loved
little
Mike and
little like
Right.
jar, and we'll
Yeah,
snack
like
on
last
those.
night we had Cheez-Its and
Yeah,
vanilla
Cheez-Its are
wafers.
good. So I'm good with that.
Anything dry,
I still
really.
police my students a lot more than I police friends
Yeah,
when it
that
comes to those
makes
things.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because they're just they got no
They have no
don't
respect
think
for
about
anything.
they got
that.
no,
No
respect.
respect.
No
They
respect.
get no respect.
So I asked this question. I asked, what snacks do you like to eat while playing board games? Because that's just what we need to know.
Gotta know
More
it.
snack ideas.
I've been
And
dying to know
A
this.
lot of
my
people.
usual snacks.
I don't want to go through I'm not going to go through. I got a lot of responses, so I'll like scroll through this thing. I got a lot of
Holy
People are
responses.
passionate about their
So
snacks.
people
Crap
are
on a
people are
cracker.
passionate either yes snacks or no snacks. People are passionate just like horizontal and vertical storing games.
This is just like I wonder, Tony wonder if the people that say no snacks like vehemently, how long they've been in the hobby. I just wonder that. Only because I feel like I've gone through that when I was younger in the hobby
The newer people won't say no snacks.
will say no snacks. I think when I was first getting into the hobby, this was my baby, and these games were my babies.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they need to be in perfect, pristine condition, or I am going to lose my mind.
I think
And
it's
so
more-
if anyone eats around my games, no. And so but the more I've gone through and kind of relaxed as a gamer and just kind of grown as a person, I don't care as much.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily the newer people because like
So I said I owe Tony Wonder.
because I think of like
Someone say
people
wonder.
like my sister and brother-in-law, like they're newer into games and I cannot ever see them being like no snack.
Well, okay, they're
But-
not gamers though.
They're not.
No, they
Oh,
play
so like
games,
newer but passionate.
but they're
about
not
it.
like that's not their hobby. They like to play games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think they like socializing
Right.
more.
I think it's more about like how like OCD and anal you are.
Yeah, but I don't know. Anyway,
So we had a lot. Pretzels was a huge. Pretzels might be the number one.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I think pretzels meets a couple categories. What a conversation we're having.
I'm so
Pretzels
hungry
meets a great
yeah, we haven't eaten today.
because it's not greasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like a potato chip or
Yeah.
like a
They're
Cheeto
not
could
super
get
crummy.
Yeah, Doritos could get on stuff. That could be a problem. But pretzels, I think that's a strong one.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
agreed.
There's some people who like chips and salsa.
I do.
Someone said French fries with lots of cheese on them, but nowhere near the
Whoa.
game.
Okay, yeah,
But
that's
nowhere
one
near
I
the
might
game.
be like maybe
Yeah.
we don't.
Nestor is an anti-snacker. He
Anti-snacker.
says nowhere near the
He
components.
thinks you have to like
Nope,
get up and
thumbs
go
down.
to your snack. Like,
Yeah.
So
away.
any snacks, I wonder.
Yeah, he's
okay.
yeah, he like
there
some people
goes that
like
theory.
like again, people like candy or gummy bears was a good one for some people. Chips and dip, people like that.
Yeah,
Wow.
baby. I love
Yeah,
chips and dip.
Maltesers.
Maltese Falcon.
Yeah,
Maltesers?
What's Maltesers?
I have no idea. Two
Maybe that's like a.
Let's look at it.
two people said Maltesers.
Maybe that
Is
that
that, like,
another
across
Maybe
the
it's
country?
like
pond?
is it like a chocolate?
How do you spell it?
MAL teasers, TEASERS.
It sounds.
Maybe it's
familiar.
like is it? I wonder if it's a regional thing.
It's chocolate.
Chocolate. So people like chocolate.
Maltesers. Mars. Oh, okay. They're Whoppers.
Whoppers.
Yeah, they're Whoppers.
Okay, so that's it going in the candy thing. So a lot of people are on both sides, and yeah, pretzels being the top snack. So think about the top snack you like if you're out there listening. And,
Wow.
and then I followed up with a question of, give me the bad story. The bad
Yeah.
story of
Everyone's got
drink, food, near games.
I go first?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna say because
I have one.
Was there, I think.
It's not the Cheeto.
No,
it's
it
not
was
the Kevin.
it was
It's not the
at
Kevin
work.
one.
Oh, okay.
So this is I used to sleeve my cards religiously, and when I was first introducing some people to the hobby, they treated me poorly
They
for
made
that.
fun of him.
Made fun of me like crazy. Like
I sleeve
your-
my cards.
Your cards are in
Oh,
little
what a nerd, you
tiny
sleeve
plastic
your
sleeves.
cards.
Aha, you dummy. You know, like haha, let's all make fun of the loser. And so right after this one person was making fun of me for sleeving my cards, like it was serendipitous.
Yeah.
She smacks her hand into her cup of water that she was drinking all over the cards. And I was like, now guess what? You would have just bought me a brand new game if my cards weren't in their little loser plastic. Because right after she was like,
This is exactly why I
you don't
sleeved
need
them.
this. Boom. And she all over the place, you know? And so that was my...
Was it Palace of Carrara? What was the game?
It was The Resistance.
The
It
Resistance.
was a long time
It
ago.
was?
I think so.
I thought someone spilt on Palace of Carrara for you too. Maybe not.
No, it wasn't Palace. My original copy of Trajan got...
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Are you sure it was the Resistance?
Nope.
I remember it being in a conference room.
Okay.
Oh man.
I don't know. It might not have been The Resistance, but it was a game
Was it
that had
Splendor?
cards that were... Sure. Splendor. Let's go with that. Oh, you know what? Machi Koro.
Oh,
It's Machi Koro.
That's all cards. Yeah,
all
I'm
cards.
sure people
Yeah.
have had to
Cards.
replace games or throw them away because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Day 1607,
Lewis.
knocked over beer all over Lords of Waterdeep.
Oh.
And they were like 2 hours into the game.
What's that thing from Despicable Me? Knocked over.
Knocked over.
Yeah, there's like
Oh, man.
a lot of these are just spilled on things, so I'm going to run through some of them. But the runaway leader spilled beer all over Gloomhaven.
It's a whole lot of beer.
It's a lot of beer, and it's
Beer, and beer's not.
That's an expensive game.
expensive
That's an expensive
games.
game to beer.
one spilled red wine all over a game.
That's even worse.
The board and the
that's
tokens were swimming in wine.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that's
Swimming.
I sent her a message and I said, were you playing viticulture? Because that would have been ironic.
Yeah,
She
that would have
said,
been...
That'd have
or
been okay
videos.
then.
No. Emotional Cyborg, this is really funny, had an instance where sneezing all over the game. Sneezing dip that you just ate all over the game. She said it was the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened. Sneeze, and it just was like sneeze
Like, hot
everywhere
shoot.
of like dip.
What do you do?
I don't know.
If you're at someone's
This-
house, you're just like,
I think you Napoleon Dynamite
You gotta get
run
the
out
fuck
of
out.
the
Yeah,
room.
you just leave.
or you just like moonwalk away.
Yeah. So this is funny. Moving meeples. So the question was, tell me something bad that's happened during snacking in
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
So moving meeple said, "Yeah, I got fat."
Wait, but you're moving meeple. You were just sitting meeple there.
Yeah.
Lethargic meeple.
A lot of people said spilling Joey's MV 2.0, spilt beer again, was sampling beer, so had probably a flight of beer.
I think it's very popular for people to drink while
yeah.
playing games, so that
Yeah.
makes sense. We're
and
getting
it's
a lot
also
of
becoming
alcohol
popular. I
ones.
think people are bringing littler games to bars and playing them
Oh,
at
right.
tables.
Good. Yeah.
So they're spilling
Spill- or
things,
Yeah, and you
Spill-
don't really
tipping
drink
things
beer
over.
with like a lid. Like we have lids on our waters.
Yeah.
BG Rules review says no. We eat separately. So I don't do that.
Don't come to the game table hungry.
Yeah, right.
Jim Gamer, who we always talk about, Wine destroyed his Blockbuster card. So that game Blockbuster, I think, by
Yes.
Big Potato.
Yeah, Big Potato.
And he said, and I agree with
potato,
him,
big
it's a
potato.
risk of party games. Party games are going to get spilled
Yeah.
on, and it's just, and sometimes,
Luckily, those are cheaper.
yeah, they're cheaper, and you
Yeah.
might not worry that a card might
Right.
have a stain all over it.
Cheetos stain.
Yep. Date night dice, beer overflowing, and just like with a mix of board game components. It was just like
Wait, we don't know what
beer
game?
and I know. So Emily told me that Ben, all he yelled was beer, 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 and tried to like clear it off. And it's just like it's this moment of just
don't know what to yell, so you
panic.
just yell the
yeah,
first
you
thing,
just
beer,
go,
beer, beer,
"Ah," you just like try to
Clean up the beer.
Yeah, it's so those were some of the stories that got sent to me. It was just funny, and I'm sure it's happened to all of us. Where we
That's
just
hilarious.
Ruined
Yeah.
something or spilled on
Yeah.
things.
Do you have one, Natalie? Do you have a story you can think of? Or is that the one that I said? Is that the one?
I mean, that's the one that I always think of because it was like so significant.
It was perfect because she was just giving me shit
And it was like
about why I do it. And
just
she's
proved
the one.
exactly
that-
why
you're like,
you sleeve your
boom.
cards.
Yep.
But other than that, no.
Yep.
I mean, I don't really recall any bad moments where food or drink has ruined anything.
Yeah, which is funny because I think it's mostly like people are adults. You know, if you
Yeah.
trust them to be adults, they're gonna generally more or less respect
Right.
your stuff.
There's been like
Yeah.
little
You're
moments
playing
here
with
and
kids,
there.
like in your instance.
Yeah.
I understand. You gotta be like you're on them.
There's been little tiny moments when back when you were in your more not so relaxed phase.
You're not cool face.
And like I would like accidentally like spill a tiny like drip of something on a card, and I'd look up and be like, try to wipe it away before you notice. I'm like, oh god, I look okay, I'm fine.
You're bringing back memories. I'm gonna,
Yeah. Now we're gonna have to go through every card in every
I'm gonna
game.
be that again. What is it? Oh my gosh, that was really fun.
Yeah,
that was
so
really fun
food
stuff.
and spilling.
I
Yeah.
like that a lot. So I wouldn't want to be insert beatdown game name today, as it's about to get a virtual thrashing on today's board game beatdown. Hot Sloopy Pooty. we gotta do another one of those. We gotta do another
Yeah,
one
that
of
was
those.
funny.
I'll do it. I'll come up with one for next episode, maybe.
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready.
All right, on today's Board Game Beatdown, we have a game that has 31,000 ratings on Board Game Geek and 4,700 comments.
Ooh.
And the name of this game is Blood Rage.
Ooh, yeah. All right, Blood Rage.
Take
It's
it
your time of
down.
the month.
Yep.
Okay, I almost didn't say this, but in parentheses I wrote, this is not at all related to the fact that it's that time of the month.
Oh, I love you so much.
I'll
my gosh,
unmarry
'cause
you.
it is.
I'll unmarry you so I can marry you again.
Jeff, divorce us. Will you marry me again? That's right. It is your Blood Rage time.
Yep. The somewhere between 150 and 250 people now know this.
Hooray!
They're going to learn your cycle.
Put it on the calendar.
It's June 7th in July.
Natural thing, people.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's funny. Okay, continue.
All right. Let's see what people hate about Blood Rage.
Okay.
Serbane says, this game is shitty.
Those ones are my favorite, by the way,
know.
when it's just like, this game is bad.
Like, you didn't even give it a real review.
It's so funny to me. They're
Why
like,
right
oh, this game sucks so bad. I'm going to give it a 1. And my comment is, this game is shitty.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Why?
I need to write this out. That's so
Oh my
funny.
gosh. P-Tam Club says, the game has many card to play, but I can't play because not
Oh, yeah.
enough the rage.
That's great.
Hold on, I'm looking up what PTAM is because I want to know what this
It's like
club's all about.
PEATAM.
Parallel tracking and mapping is a camera tracking system. Oh, I want to join that club. So he's in the PTAM club.
Olive Wolf says, I like this game.
Wait. Olive Wolf?
Yep.
Okay.
I like this game, but pervy designer had to make a clan of Viking women with their tits out.
What a perv.
What a perv. Eric Lang, the
They
perv.
just really didn't like that part of it. Artemis says, I played this game once. After the first of 3 rounds, I honestly thought we had the rules incorrect, as the game was so bad that I was certain that we had missed something. The only reason this game is rated so well is because of the miniatures. This is the worst game I've ever played within the strategy genre. Why did
Wow.
I put this on here? That was the most boring.
That was part of the review still.
I was like reading and I'm like, oh, it's got to get better. Oh.
It's like that. It's like at the beginning, you're telling that story and everyone's looking at you like, oh, what's going to happen?
Oh.
And it's going nowhere.
Sorry
Real
about
quick,
that.
I want to go back real quick to the one you said about the pervy designer thing.
Yeah.
There's a big, it's like a controversy about how women are portrayed in board games.
Oh.
And so I'm not going to say the pervy comment applies to this, but there's a lot of thing where, and rightfully so, I feel like women are sometimes upset about how they're portrayed in certain
Yeah,
games.
I get
Like
that.
in a game like Blood Rage, where this woman just has her tits out, women are like, well, why don't they have games where guys have their dick out? Like, it just
Right.
doesn't, it's not the same like that. So I can understand being upset or offended by that. I don't know if that's what that person was necessarily talking about, but maybe. And if
Maybe.
so, I just wanted to say that is an actual thing.
Yeah.
That,
That's been around a lot. Like even video
Yeah,
games,
I get that.
video games,
yeah,
board games.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that's something that that's a legitimate one, but
Perv.
it was said in a funny way.
Right.
Yeah.
What a perv! What a skeevy little
Yeah.
perv!
Infinity.
Did I call the listeners skeevy board gaming pervs
Yep.
one time?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why we're down to 150.
Right. We're losing listeners.
Whatever, it's fun.
Infinity Reborn says, so boring.
Infinity Reborn.
Jay Lair says, I didn't like the gore.
Okay.
Not actual gore.
I know.
It's just a board game.
Pastor A-Rod says,
Well,
if you don't have anything nice to say, ... and then in parentheses, read what I said on Innis.
Inish.
Ooh.
Inish. I didn't go
Really?
read what he said.
Oh, come on.
I know.
I'm looking right now.
Okay.
What's his name? Pastor A-Rod?
A-Rod.
But
yeah.
it's all like together.
Alex Rodriguez
in
didn't like
one,
that game.
Like no spaces. Do you want to look it up?
Wait, say that again. Say it's all one, no spaces.
Pastorarod.
Got it. Pastor A-Rod. I'm going to his. Found him.
Inish.
Oh, it looks like I think he's an actual pastor.
Okay.
I thought he was making fun of
not Alex Rodriguez, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I'm going to his owned games. I'm not sure if he owns Inish. If he does, Inish. Oh, here we go. You ready for this Inish review?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He rated it a 9.5.
Maybe he loves Inish and hates that one.
Oh,
That's maybe why.
I never thought I'd like this as much as I do. I really didn't like Blood Rage when I tried it, and I heard there were similarities in mechanisms, which there are. I wasn't a fan of the look, theme, cards, or combat style of Blood Rage, but I kept hearing about Inish, and eventually I got this in a trade. There's a lot more. He basically loves this
Hates Blood
and
Rage.
doesn't like Blood Rage. He doesn't mention Blood Rage again, but
Okay.
I'm glad we got through that.
All
Pastor
right.
A-Rod.
Okay, so this one's a little bit longer, but it's funny and worth it.
Same worth
We'll
it.
be the judge of that.
Yeah. Esco Saris.
Oh, it's Samo. That's why.
Oh.
This guy.
He's one of the two that we've talked about before,
What
right?
about this?
Yeah, he's on Board Game Geek. He is he's very long-winded.
Okay.
First of all,
Well, I'm not reading all of it.
And
I'm skipping a bunch.
he's
Good. He's opinionated.
He's
Okay.
thank you. That is exactly right. He's very opinionated.
This is I thought was kind of funny.
Okay.
Blood Rage relation to Citow. Is that how you call it? Citow. It's like another game.
I don't know.
No.
Blood Rage relation to Citow is kind of like, you know that dude you knew at high school that was really into metal, wore long hair, and did crazy stuff all the time? Now you meet him 15 years later and you barely recognize him in his business suit, short hair, immaculate attire. But he claims deep down he's still rock and roll. He shows you a tiny tattoo on his ankle under a Hugo Boss sock. And then he goes
That's
on and
funny.
he says, like, instead of figuring out how Blood Rage is a hybrid, if it is, it would be easier to point out where it's not a Euro. And blah, 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 blah. Several more paragraphs comparing it to Citow, and then this. Maybe this game is actually a different type of dude than I described above. It's the metal dude guy you meet, but turns out that just his visual attire as he's managing 10 bands, organizing 3 festivals while having another $1 million business on the side, a yacht, and a villa in the posh part of town.
Wow.
And of course, he's married into a rich political family. The metal thing, merely makeup.
Wait, this is the personification of blood rage to this guy?
I guess so, yes. It comes off as this sort of game, but apparently it owns a yacht.
Right. And then he writes, yeah, those minis, just bling on top of a euro.
That's the yacht.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all with that one.
Old Samo.
Simwork says, somewhere between meh and hated it.
Oh, I would think meh is higher than that.
That is so much. I like that so
Yeah.
much better than the really long
great.
ones.
Right, me too.
Somewhere between meh and hated it. That's basically good, not great,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
The bilge rat says,
Who rat?
it's like Bilge.
Bilge. Ooh.
A box of plastic toys, rumored to have a game included as an afterthought.
Oh, there's a game in here.
I'm so happy we don't love this game, or I'd be so mad.
I know. Worker Placement says the worker placement in this game is terrible.
Hey!
What a great
I
account.
know. That is so
I want to meet
funny.
him or her.
Yeah, me
know.
too. We got to
This-
look up worker placement.
This is a random one pulled from Amazon, and you would know it's from Amazon. Brett and Laura say, returned due to incredibly long and confusing instructions.
Classic Amazon board game review.
So Brett and Laura then had to return it. Like, opened it, took the shrink off it, ruined that part of the game, opened the box, didn't like it, and then had to go to Kohl's and return it to Amazon. Because that's how you return stuff to Amazon.
You do?
Yeah, you can go to Kohl's and return stuff to Amazon now.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they'll take
What?
anything.
Aunt Donna.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
friggin' Jack and Diane. Who is it?
Yeah, Sue and Laura.
Sue and Larry. What?
Brett and Laura.
Oh, Brett and Laura.
I got Laura right.
Sue's Larry. Senseless Guy says,
Okay.
win for doing poorly, the game.
Okay.
Olivier Andu says, first age, not bad. Second age, not good. Third age, awful.
Oh.
And last but
I
not
actually like
least,
the game.
Jelly Nut says, sorry, Blood Rage. I know you wanted me to love you and your plastic monsters are impressive, but it's just not worked out between us. I'm moving back in with chaos in the old world.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually really like Blood Rage. I think that's a very good game. I would like to. That's one game that I think I would be interested in seeking out again.
Have you played it more than the one time?
Yeah, I played it
Okay.
a few times.
I only played it once, I think, with you
I
guys.
only
Yeah.
played it once.
I liked it.
I don't really remember. It was a
I
long
liked
time
it.
ago.
The card drafting I thought was really fun, and there is that mechanism where you can win by losing.
Yeah.
which is cool. Loki's power is that. But anyway, that was really funny stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we ready for this?
Is it the
Backwards Ho! In today's game of the episode, we're going to do something different. It's a game I like to call City Mag C Drudgewood Cab. In City Mag C Drudgewood Cab, you're going to try to be the first to guess the game that I'm talking about, but I'm going to be saying the title backwards.
What?
What?
I'm going to read it as if it were spelled correctly. I might only read part of the
Are you
game
good?
so as not to confuse you too much, but these will be popular games that you both know. Are you ready?
Oh boy.
Ear, he, ooh, og.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, just gonna do it. Are we ready for this? Okay. I would say try not to spell it out, like write it, because you could write it out and maybe.
Yeah, I won't,
you ready?
I won't do that. I'll just listen.
Okay, here we go. Game number 1. Osnerol. Natalie.
Lorenzo?
Oh, yeah. Wait, Jeff, can you take...
Yeah.
He's like,
Natalie 10, Jeff 0.
Were you so far away from
Score.
that?
Yeah.
You got that quick.
Thanks.
Damn. It was probably good that you
Natalie
were
won.
watching me as I was typing them. It was probably helps you.
I did not.
All right, we ready? Number 2, Loser. Jeff.
Azul.
Yeah.
Blue.
Loser.
Yeah, blue. All right, number 3, Anrivac. Anrivac. Natalie.
Caverna?
Holy cow, you guys are good.
I have a strategy.
Man.
What, just be smart?
I don't.
I'll tell you later.
No
I don't wanna
letters?
give it away.
I know all the letters.
I hit myself in the face with the tape. I know my letters.
Oh man.
Right before, I'm just like, A, B, C, D. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Number 4. Never moolg. Never moolg. Natalie.
Gloomhaven?
Yeah.
She's gonna win. I can't do this fast enough. It's gonna be 9-1. I'm glad I got one.
This is so funny.
My face hurts.
Dude, it's the alphabet. There's no letters.
I don't need
That's Natalie's
I didn't
strategy. We
still.
figured it out.
I didn't know. I didn't practice study them before I showed up
Your
here.
letters.
Oh man.
All right, number 5. Stiff. Stiff. Just by the
He got
He
it.
did.
Fits.
Yeah.
We should make a game called Stiff.
I know. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect to laugh this hard. Okay, number 6. Najart. Najart. Jeff.
Trajan.
Yes, sir. Babe, I thought you had a strategy.
I thought of the letters.
Jeff, yeah, just figured out the letter.
Okay.
Hey, what are we at right now? Are we 3-3?
3-3. Ooh.
Yeah. This is working. All right, number 7. Ledrive. Ledrive. Remember, I'm pronouncing these as if they were spelled backwards.
Bro.
Ledrive.
Wait, you're not saying the game title?
No, I mean, I'm not trying to say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ledrive. Eve. Ledrive. Jeff.
Everdell?
Everdell.
Oh, man.
Hey, remember when you were going to lose?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one?
I know.
Now you're up 4-3.
I'm ready to come back.
Number 8. Aram. This one's tough. This is the toughest one in the whole thing.
Aram?
Aram. Pastor Aram. Yeah. Aram. Natalie.
Maria?
Holy
Whoa.
crap! It is Maria. You guys, it's 4-4 all of a sudden.
Yeah. This
There's
is
only
good.
2 left. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wow.
That means it's going to come down to the game. Wait, what do I do if there's a tie? Should we make the last one worth more? No, if it's a tie,
Right.
I'm cool with that. This is great.
Yeah.
Number
me
9.
too.
Ecadnu. Ecadnu. Jeff.
Wendake?
Yes, sir.
That.
Natalie, you got to get this to stay alive. But listen, there's got to be some rule where you can't just buzz in and then sit there.
Yeah.
You got to know
We
it.
don't do that.
I know. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, number 10. Rennerton. 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 Yeah, Rennerton.
What's he saying?
Well, it's hard to...
Rennerton.
Natalie. What, did I just say you can't do that?
Netrunner?
Yes, Netrunner.
I was going to say Netrunner, but then
Did it seem like I was supposed
Yeah.
to do?
Don't ring in and think about it.
I was going to say Netrunner, but then I
Whoa.
second guessed myself.
No, you got it.
Because you were like, ding.
I was like,
posed.
in my head, I was like, oh shit, is that what it is?
Good one. We tied.
You guys, I am so impressed. That was so funny. I did not think that you got okay.
Well, it's even you just have to listen to the first and last letter and then try to fill in the rest.
Is that what your strategy
Yeah,
was?
like when you said the Lorenzo one, I was like,
Osnerol.
it ends with an O and starts with an L. Lorenzo, okay.
Wow. What was
Man.
Some were harder.
Jeff's
because
was
you
just
had
no
to pay
letters.
attention
Yeah.
to the-
I just had to try to figure out the letters. I don't think about games I know.
That was really funny.
Oh, man.
That was really funny. Good job, you guys. You tied.
Wait, what? Say it again. Say the Everdell one again.
Okay. Ledrive.
I think that's what threw me off is because I kept thinking it started with a V.
EVE.
Yeah, we
I
know,
know,
like V.
so that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yep.
But I was like, that's why I couldn't think of it. I was like,
Creating a new language is simple. Just take board game covers and turn them
Yeah.
around. Because Osnerol, Luza, Anvarak, Nemagulg, Stiff, Nejart, Ledrive. I basically just said Lorenzo, Azul,
That's
Caverna,
good.
Gloomhaven, Fitz, and Trajan. And Everdell. All right.
man.
So we are doing something a bit different than normal for our top 5 slot. Each of us did the Pub Meeple ranking engine, which if you haven't done, you should. Head on over to pubmeeple.com and go through the rankings. You have to have your collection on Board Game Geek to be able to do this. But when you do it, it'll likely take you a couple hours.
Yeah.
Forever. But it's
For a
worth
long
it.
time.
It's
long.
cool when it's done.
But when you're done, you should have a definitive list from 1 to however many games you have on your Board Game Geek account.
Ranked.
And it'll rank them. Put them in order. We're going to share for you our top 10s
That came of this.
and talk about how we feel that they reflect if they reflect our true feelings or not of what they actually are. So basically on this Pub Meeple engine, it's basically hot or not. It brings up two games
Yep.
and you or what is it what's that dating website people like where you swipe
Tinder.
Well, it's like this. Yeah, it's like this or that.
Yeah,
like
this
this or that.
this or
That's
that
what
one.
more I'm
Yeah.
thinking of. It basically brings up
Dating
two
website?
games. It wasn't Tinder like you swipe left, swipe
like yes or no.
left. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically that, except it's not one game, it's two
Right,
games.
it's comparing
It compares
two
two
games.
games together. You click which one you would rather play.
Yep.
The thing is, what makes it tricky, it sounds easy, right? Because it just brings up your entire collection over and over with, oh, do I like this game better or this game better?
Yeah.
But when it brings up stuff like Strike compared with like Letters from Whitechapel, you're like,
Yeah, they're
how do I
difficult to
compare that?
So different.
So
Yeah. You have to
It can
come up with like a strategy in your head of how you want to make these decisions. Like I think me and Jeff did more like what I would want to play right now, like or tomorrow, and maybe Ryan did more like what do I just think is like a general better game like I like.
nope. So
Okay.
we are going to go through our top 10. We're going to go, we're just going to go order this. We're going to go Jeff, me, Natalie. And so, Jeff, I want to start with you and tell us about how this worked, this process was for you.
Yeah.
And then once you're done, give us your number 10.
So I went on and, like Ryan said, you go on, you type in your BGG username, and it will pull up your collection. And you can also add any game you've played. So if you also log plays onto this thing, you can it'll pull your collection and any played games. So if I come over here and I play Wendake, and then that will be on my list. So,
Ecadnu?
yep, Ecadnu. And so that will do that. What I did is I did take out some games as I was going. So as I'm clicking through, I pulled out some of the games that I know were not in my top 150. So I got rid of Win, Lose, Banana. It saved me a little bit of time because
Sure.
what it has to do is it has to compare Win, Lose, Banana to a whole bunch of other games.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm never going to pick Win, Lose, Banana. So that would be at the bottom. So I just kind of got rid of some to kind of speed the process up.
Yeah.
So my number 10 is a game called Black Angel.
Ooh.
That's a newer game.
It
Came
is.
out at Gen Con last year. I really like it. Played it 3-4-ish times.
That's pretty interesting.
And I know the game that I played with you guys, which I was really excited about, turned out awful. And no other game has played like that.
Yeah.
It was like a different ending
Yeah.
Yeah.
condition. But I'm not surprised that is in the top.
I was going to say, do you think that's
something
that's
yeah.
representative of,
Yeah, I
of
think
what you have?
I think that's good. It somewhere between an 8 and a 12 kind of thing. So yeah, that's
Because, I mean, this is huge, right? This is your top 10. We've all played hundreds and hundreds of games.
Yeah, it's
maybe
big.
thousands, so many games. And that's your top 10. That's your number 10.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Big deal.
huge.
Yep.
Awesome. That's cool. Did that surprise you?
I don't think so. I think I know that I like it. I know that I've enjoyed every play.
So you kind of see it and you were like, yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that makes
Like,
sense.
that's good for number
Yeah.
10. All right. For me, my number 10 is also, just like Jeff, a brand new game that just came out, actually even newer than Black Angel. And I've played it even less times, and it's already in my number 10 spot, which is crazy to me. And it is Vital Lacerda's On Mars.
Oh, yeah.
You love that game.
I mean, I've only played it 2 times. And but in the middle of the first play, I remember looking at Natalie, that was at Grand Con, and I was like, I think this could be my favorite game of all time if I played it enough. I like it that much. Then we played it again.
Here.
Was it just you? Yeah, just
Yeah.
you and me. And again, I was like, this game is so good. It's so good. It gives me this like, oh my god, while I'm playing it.
Yeah.
And I feel like any game that gives me that deserves to be in my top 10. So that that totally feels deserved. Now, what about you? What's your number 10?
My number 10 is Coimbra,
Yes.
Yeah.
which I also feel like
Coimbra.
it deserves that. And this is, a game that we didn't just play once. I don't know. I might have played it like 3 or 4 times and loved every single one. And I want to keep it, and I want to keep playing it. And so I think it does deserve to be in the top 10.
Cool. Coimbra.
There was a lot of when I'm clicking these, and I played a game more recently. That also might have influenced me to
Influenced
click
your
that
decision.
instead of. So that was
Definitely.
maybe why some of these that I thought might be in my top 10 are down a little bit.
Right.
So my number 9 is Lords of Vegas.
Hell
And
yeah.
Lords of Vegas is just so fun.
So fun.
And I pictured walking into game night what game would I be more excited about being on the table? That's kind of how I
Yeah.
clicked through this. And when Lords of Vegas is on the table, I'm like, this is gonna be an awesome night. It's so
Right.
fun.
That's in my top 15. So
Yeah.
it's in the next few. What an amazing game that is. Nice. My number 9 is a game that I was going to put on our game that we just played, but it would have sounded basically the same forward as backwards, and that's Teotihuacan. And wouldn't that be funny if I put that in? Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan?
Yeah, it's a Teotihuacan. This game kind of it kind of had this Terra Mystica feel for me when I was researching it, where I was like, I know I'm gonna love this game. I just know it. It looks so.
Yeah.
And we played it and we love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we love this
Yeah.
game. Played it 3 or 4 times now, and I cannot wait to get it out again.
Yes.
We got the expansions for it, and I'm like so jazzed up for it all the time, and it gives me that same feeling of all these are feelings, right? When it's happening, you're like, oh my god, this is so fun. And when I say that outwardly, I know that it deserves its spot. So that's my number 9, Teotihuacan.
So kind of like Jeff, like I said before, it was hard for me to pick some of these, and so I picked ones that like if I was like, out of these 2 games, which would I would play tomorrow? You know, which would I be most excited to play like
Crown
next?
tomorrow.
And that's how I did it. And in doing that, it brings up a lot of games that are more recent, you know, and maybe less games I haven't played in a while. And I feel like that's in general how I feel like my top 10 in general is probably constantly changing based on
For sure.
the more recent and more fun things.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyways,
Absolutely.
having said that, my number 9 is Lorenzo, which I've only played once, but we thought it
says
was
a lot.
I was shocked.
so it makes sense that it came up in my top 10 because every time it popped up, I'd be like, yes, because I want to play it again so bad because I loved it.
Well, these things are so fun to constantly reevaluate.
Yeah.
Because like you just said, there's so many games that come out every year that completely change everything you thought you knew before.
Right.
You know, like I can see in 2 years, looking back here and going, oh my God, how did I make this list without this game in it? That doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Like On Mars is my number 10 of all time.
Right.
Doing this last
And it's
year when
only
that game
going up.
didn't exist. Yeah, it's only going to go up. But doing it last year when that game didn't exist, like looking at it now, it's like, how did I know any
Right.
better? I was just a dumb fool back
We
then.
should make a so today is June 7th.
Yeah.
We should go, all right, June 7th next year, we should do it again.
Yeah, good.
See where
That's a
we're
good
at, maybe.
idea.
Good call.
See how it's
Natalie
changed.
she'll be on the Blood Rage again.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
it'll be
my
her cycle.
God.
All right, Jeff, what's your number 8?
Number 8 is a game I always lose. It's called 5 Tribes.
Do you really? Except to me.
Yeah.
You beat me.
That was the
first time we
of
played.
the I don't know, 10, 12 times I played that game. It might be the only time I've ever won.
Good. I'm glad
That was
I
the
can
first
be
time we
here to
played.
make you feel terrible.
And it was
Make you feel good about yourself.
You feel
It-
terrible.
Makes me feel
I
terrible.
love this game.
Yeah, you do.
It's awesome.
So that
And-
totally deserves its
Yes,
slot.
that would be if you were to say, Jeff, make your top 10, that would have been there solidly.
Yeah.
Very
There's
cool.
when we get to the end, and I'm going to kind of talk about some things that maybe I'm surprised by
Yeah.
that I'll talk about shifting, but that one belongs in a top 10.
Okay.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Number 8 for me is an abstract strategy game that I have fallen in love with again in my adult life. I just got a brand new board.
Ooh, I saw that on the
Ooh,
gram.
it's marbled. Yeah. And this game is chess. Yes. Designed by Bruno Feduti, I think.
Yep.
in conjunction with Stefan
And published by,
Yeah, published
Renegade.
by Renegade.
it's called Chess.
Yeah, artwork by Vincent
Components
Dutrait.
are amazing.
Yeah.
These I got the Kickstarter version. These are the 3D components.
they're
Normally
great.
they're just cubes.
You keep moving cute color cubes around.
You got the geek up components.
No, chess is. I've been in love with chess for my whole life, but in most recent months, it's come
been
on
an
like wow,
obsession.
yeah. I've been obsessed with it. It's so
He
it's
watches
so
chess
fun.
videos, people playing
Constantly.
chess, commentary on chess.
Man, what would your sister think of that?
I'm all about chess. Dweeb.
Dweeb.
No, you
Dweeb.
know what? No, actually, for Christmas last year, Natalie's mom got me a chessboard, and
And now you threw it away because you got the better one.
I recycled it.
Just kidding. Yeah.
No,
made
I
of wood.
expected Frankie to kind of be like, what? But honestly, she was like, wow, that's beautiful. Like when she was looking at it, like she was like, that looks awesome. You know what I mean? So she was not as judgmental as I feared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what she was thinking in her head, you know.
We're striving for Frankie's approval.
Yeah, exactly. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's my number 8, chess.
Awesome.
Natalie, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Trajan.
Oh, Nate Jarrett.
Yeah, nature.
Great game.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold on, real quick. You two have so much
similar.
in
Yeah,
common
we've-
yeah.
gaming life-wise. I feel like you guys like the exact same stuff. Like, because Trajan is one of Jeff's favorite games. Coimbra is one of Jeff's favorite games.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
So, I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah. I mean, again, this list, like, it would be really hard for me to rank top 10 games in general. And I look at this list and I say all of these deserve to be in the top 10. There might be other ones, too, that I might think deserve to be in the top 10 that aren't on here, but, like, I can say, looking at this list, like, I love every single one of these games and would play them anytime.
Sure.
But, yeah, Trajan's my number 8.
Awesome. Jeff, what's your number 7, man?
Number 7, Keyflower.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I love that game. I love the auction mechanic of it. I love
Yeah, so you're not
it's
surprised at
with
that?
worker. I'm not surprised at that at all.
When I
with
think
the
of that
worker
game, I
placement.
think of you.
It just even the first time we played it, I was like, "This game is awesome."
And we played it
And-
so wrong.
Yeah,
We were
played
taught
it very
by-
wrong,
by
and then we played it
a
right.
buddy.
I'm like, "Wow, this game's even better."
Even better.
So yeah, I'm not surprised by that one. Keyflower at number 7.
Nice. My number 7 is a game called Anrivak, and it is Caverna. I love this game. I love it so much. Uwe, my boy, this is, in my opinion, this is his crowning achievement. I think the game takes everything that I didn't totally love about Agricola and gives it to me. It backs off a little bit on the stress. It adds the more thematic stuff in there that I like with the caves and the dwarves, and you can go on expeditions, and it's just, I love the game. I love it.
And
That's
we
my
played it
number
with Tom
7.
Vassal.
And I beat his ass.
Ooh, yeah.
Not me.
sure did.
He beat
What's up,
me and he rubbed it in my
Tower?
face.
He did. He rubbed it in her face.
He's like, Lisa beat her.
All right, Natalie, what's
I
your number
wasn't
7?
even last, too. Okay.
Gotta make that known.
My number 7 is Underwater City.
Again?
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
Oh, it's like you're wait. this
Divorce
game's
me and I'll
later.
marry
Yeah.
you too.
It's like, yeah.
We would just play the same 8 games over and over and over
Right, I
again.
know. But I mean, yeah, nothing really say. We all know we all love Underwater Cities.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a great
stupid game. Awesome. Yeah, very awesome game.
Deserves
Jeff,
its-
what is your number 6?
Number 6 is a game I've been playing a lot more recently that I just got the expansion for, and we've talked about the last couple episodes. Is Orléans.
Orléans. I was
baby.
very surprised when I saw this at number 6 for you.
Yeah, that's high,
It is.
and I think that's in. I don't want to say Call to the New for me that I've played
Yeah.
it a lot
the
more.
right now bias.
The right now bias a little
Recent
bit.
excitement about it.
I wouldn't say it's not necessarily my top 10, but 6 is high.
Sure, it is high.
But I don't see it necessarily going anywhere out of my top
Yeah.
10. And like Natalie said, I wish my top 10 could have 15 games. Does
You have.
Yeah.
that make any
Did
sense?
you say that?
No, but in the same way of
That's
like,
I just
really
mean
funny.
like,
You could-
it
I could
deserves
swap
it.
'em.
Other
Yeah.
games
Yeah,
deserve
yeah,
it too,
sure.
but that one still
Yeah.
deserves it.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say the couple times you've played this, you haven't just been like, I liked that. You've been like, oh my god, this was
It's been
Yeah,
awesome.
you've been talking about it a lot.
Yeah.
Really liked it. Number 6 for me is a game that usually is on camera during a lot of Natalie's Zoom conferences, and that is Too Many Bones.
Yeah.
And I've talked about Too Many Bones ad nauseum, so I will relinquish the number 6 spot microphone slot to Natalie because I think I cut you off last time. And I'm sorry
it's
about
fine.
that.
My number 6 is Teotihuacan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, a game we love, like almost same exact thing that Jeff just said. Like, wow, I'm surprised it's number 6. That's really high, but again, I love it, so it's not surprising.
Well, I mean,
that
you
it's
put
in
it there.
the top 10.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
you think about it, it's like, well, I guess I did
Yeah.
click this a lot. So maybe you're
Right.
learning something about your own tastes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, for example, with like Lorenzo, actually, that's the only game on here that's like that I've only played once. Like, I probably, if I made my own top 10, I probably wouldn't put a game I've only played once.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, it's got to be like tried and true
Sure.
kind of thing. But
But this isn't
this
that
isn't
way.
that. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, here we are in the top 5.
Ooh, top
Jeff, what
5.
you got? Number 5, man.
Let's start our top 5.
Let's do it.
Top 5. Number 5. It's Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
sweet.
Yeah, which again is more of the new. I've been playing it
Yeah.
recently. Cult of the recent.
Cult of
Yep.
the
For
recent.
me.
Well, I'm
And-
happy to hear
Nothing
this
wrong
though,
with that.
because for a while, when you played Underwater Cities and loved it, I was like, you got to play Terraforming Mars. Like, I really want you to play that. And then we played it in Chicago, and I was like, Jeff, you got to play this. You're gonna love this. I know
Yeah.
it. And for it to jump all the way up to number 5, that's huge.
Yeah, I love it, and the Prelude expansion is great. I'm curious if I'm going to keep playing it as much where I'm going to need another expansion. Because right now I'm still learning the game. There's still so many cards and so many strategies just in the base game and
Sure.
Prelude that I don't know. Do I need other boards? But I'm not turning it down when it comes
Yeah.
to the table.
Yeah,
So
for
I
sure.
might need another expansion.
That's crazy. Awesome. My number 5. I'm sure I've talked about this on the show before, is a dice worker placement game. The dice worker placement game, in my opinion. It's called Alien Frontiers. And I love that game a lot. And it was like the original Kickstarted board game. Did you know that?
Oh.
It was like the first board game that was on Kickstarter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or the first popular board game on Kickstarter. And now Kickstarter is like all board games.
Yeah.
Board games, I think, make up like the majority of Kickstarter revenue. Yeah. That's my number 5. Natalie, what about you? What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Castles of Burgundy.
Ooh.
Castles of Mad King Burgundy.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
Yeah, not
you?
surprising it's on this list, but I remember Ryan was a
thought it
bit
was gonna be-
surprised
yeah.
it was as low as 5.
Which is funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like,
but I'm kind of not
thought it was
because it's
1 or
been a
2.
really long time since we've played it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Again, this cult of the recent bias.
Yeah, I would have thought that would have been number 1 or 2 for you.
Me too.
My number 1 and 2 I had, and I'm like, these are Natalie's 1 and 2. These are Ryan's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by that was at 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my number 4 is Detective, a modern crime board game.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
Nice. Makes sense.
And I there's a difference between that game and Chronicles of Crime. Chronicles of Crime came in at number 13 for me, which I would
Still
say
incredibly high.
which is still very high because I love that
Yeah.
genre. And also Sherlock came in at 18.
Wow.
So all of those are in the top 20, and ranking those, Detective is my favorite of the 3.
Oh,
Yep.
so
And
good
absolutely.
job.
that one is I don't know again if I would have made a list if I would have put that at 4.
Yeah.
But it definitely deserves a spot in that.
I think if I
Top
was
10.
making a list for you, I think I would
I
would
would
have
put it
had
in your
that in
top
your top 5.
5.
I love it.
I know how much you love
love
that game.
immersing myself into that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
It does its job very well.
Good time.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That was number 4.
Number
Yeah.
5.
My number 4 is really the first Euro game that hit with me. Back in the day, I was primarily an Ameritrash kind of gamer. I only cared about the, dungeon crawl kind of stuff as we started with HeroQuest. And then this Euro game kind of spoke to me and then kind of started my journey on being more of a Euro game player. And this is Belfort. Talked earlier about In the Hall of the Mountain King, and Belfort is designed by Jay Cormier and Sen-Foong Lim, one of the designers of In the Hall of the Mountain King. I love that game so much, and it's still just as fun for me whenever I play it. I usually play it once or twice a year, and it always feels like such an awesome occasion when I play it, with Ben or something. So that's my number 4, Belfort. Natalie, what is
Nice.
your number 4?
That's not surprising to me. My number 4 is Pulsar 2849.
Wow.
That's high.
That surprises
That's
me.
high, but
Wow.
there was that one play where I got frustrated, but
But that's almost like,
despite that,
but having those feelings about the game is better than, you weren't just like, I don't care, I lost.
Yeah,
You were
'cause
like,
there has-
damn it, and it upset you.
Like Clans of Caledonia, that game was kind of just like, I can't even do anything, and I don't even care.
Right.
I'm not
End
just
this
like, I don't even
madness.
want to finish. It wasn't like no.
That's why I
hate
think
it.
that speaks to your passion about how much you like
and
the
so
game.
every time I played this, I'm like, God, this game is so good. So that's deserving.
Wow. And was that back to back with Castles of Burgundy? Was Castles of Burgundy right before that? Yeah, those games feel a similar weight
Yeah.
to me, and they have the dice
Yeah.
placement kind of thing. So awesome. That's great. Jeff, what is your number 3?
Number 3. We might hear this one coming up soon. Number 3 is the Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Oh, yeah.
It's just we always talk about it. Do we need to talk about it more?
Great game.
It's so
Great
fun.
game. Super fun.
Go buy
awesome
it.
game.
Buy the Geek Up bits.
You
Buy that.
have to have the Geek Up bits with it. Please.
3D print some cool boxes. It's so good.
Yeah.
Such a fun game.
Awesome. Number 3 for me is a game designed by, there's a number of designers on it. One we actually got to meet at Gen Con named Bill Everly, and when I told him this was my one of my favorite games, he shook me, and it was so awesome.
cool.
And that's Cosmic Encounter. Again, we've talked about this a ton. This is one of the most fun games for when we all get together, and if we actually do it, play it like a 5 to 6 player game. It's so fun for all of us. We're all super engaged, and what a fantastic game. That's my number 3, Cosmic Encounter.
Awesome.
Number 3 for you, Natalie.
My number 3 is Terra Mystica.
Wow.
Slow clap.
Yep. That's a great game. I mean, that is one that we've played a lot.
A lot.
And
Yeah.
it's never gets old. It's like a staple.
And I feel like we could play it 50 more times and it would still
Yeah.
feel fresh.
Right.
Because there's so much content
Yes.
in just the base.
Yes, the replayability
So-
is
It's crazy
Great.
good. Jeff, what is your number 2?
Number 2, you heard already from Natalie's list. Number 2 is Stefan Feldkondim's Trajan.
Yeah.
Trajan is so good.
I was slightly surprised. I think I would have put it in your top 10 if I was doing your list.
Sure, yep.
But that's wow. That's awesome.
I've been I don't own Trajan.
Wow.
So the how many times I've played it, I don't know,
Yeah.
8, 10 times. It has been at Bill's or with you guys.
Yeah.
So like I don't,
and you
it's-
just loved it.
yeah, it's just sitting in my Amazon cart waiting for it to drop below $60. So I'm just like waiting for a good price, and I'm gonna buy it because
Yeah,
I
of
want to play it
course.
with Devin, because Devin's getting into more
Heavier
like games
stuff,
now, and
yeah.
I think this Roncalla thing might be
Yep.
cool. You have your own little kind of player board stuff. You're doing stuff on a May board, so
Yeah.
it might hit with her. So it's my number 2.
Awesome.
Is
Number
Trajan.
2,
That is
Trajan.
cool.
Number 2 for me, you just heard about moments ago from Natalie, and it's Terra Mystica. Honestly, this is except for everybody knows number 1. Except for that,
Yep.
that Terra Mystica, every single time I play it, fills me with the exact same level of joy, and it's only eclipsed by one game on the list. Natalie, what is your number 2?
My number 2, surprise, surprise, is Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Yay.
I mean, everyone knows how much I love this game, and I just want to be playing this game all the time.
You do?
It's so fun.
Wait, so we're like having sexy time? You're like, I want to
Yeah.
hurry it up,
Quacks,
buddy.
yeah.
Yep.
That's why we're playing
Yep,
Quacks
yep,
of Quedlinburg. Jeff, we've arrived.
Number 1.
What is number 1?
Number 1 is surprising no one. Number 1 is Underwater Cities.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I sent this list to you guys, Ryan sent me a message back and said, "Is it good to see it in writing? Like it's in print?
Yeah, there it is.
It's in print." And yeah, and I can't say I've ever been disappointed playing it. I love the new boards. I'm really excited to get into the module and the expansion that kind of adds like another board and another part to the game. I love it. I love playing the cards. So in Terraforming Mars, you just play the cards and you do the thing on the card. But
Yep.
this adds that cool thing of playing cards to the board, which then gives you could give you a card action and the board action. It just
Yeah.
has, the turns can be so satisfying, and it's just so great.
Yeah.
So that's my
game.
number 1, Underwater
Sweet.
Cities.
My number 1 is
Should we all
Star
say it at the
Wars,
same time?
1, 2,
Ryan's number 1 is
3.
Star Wars mandatory.
Destiny.
I will say nothing other than it's the greatest game of all time. Natalie, what's your number 1?
If you like board games with like women on the covers and
Yeah, right.
that you have
What
to
was
buy
that
them all,
nonsense?
that was so absurd.
that's
Yeah.
stupid.
If you didn't listen to the
Sexist.
last episode, first of all, go download all of our episodes. I don't understand why
Yeah,
you're doing
come on,
that.
man.
But we beat down Star Wars Destiny, and someone was like, well, there's a woman on the
there's
cover.
a woman on the box, and Disney's pandering
It's
to
like,
the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what?
Like, you're a bad person.
Yeah, you right. You are a
Yeah.
you wrote that down. That
Yeah.
is written down, and now it's on a podcast. And
Yeah.
everyone knows that
you're a
you are a
jerk.
200
jerk.
people know.
Yeah.
150 to 250 people now know about this.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Natalie, what is your number 1 game
My
of
number
all
1
time,
of
according to
all
pubmeeple.com?
time. According to pubmeeple.com is Istanbul.
Yeah.
Wasn't it once Constantinople?
You know, I kind of liked
It's been a long
that
time.
this came out on top because this was my number 1 game like a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it helped too that we just played it in January at Nerdfest, because if we hadn't,
Oh my God, that
we
play was
hadn't-
so
We
great.
hadn't played it in a while, and
Play
when
was
we
the
played
best.
that game, it just cemented like yes, like this is exactly everything I ever
Yes.
thought.
That was the
about
best
it.
play
And
I've ever had of that.
yeah. So yeah, that's my number 1 game, Istanbul.
Istanbul was Constantinople. That is awesome. That is
Yeah.
our top 10 of all time.
Just like because we usually do like honorary mentions.
crap,
What are
I
your
didn't-
top 11? What's your number 11?
So
Just
I-
oh,
curious.
geez. All right, I'll go ahead.
I have a couple surprises. So, Natalie, I was a little surprised that Splendor wasn't in yours for the place that it had in your heart. That you
Yeah.
wouldn't just do it, be like, oh, it's cute.
Yeah, I'll
like you
click
wouldn't
it.
hit Splendor.
I'll just click
it.
But I'm also kind of glad it's not, because I think you like games way better than that.
Yeah.
So I have a couple on my list that I was a little surprised were outside of a 10 that I would maybe switch with like Black Angel. I might like drop Black Angel out.
Yeah.
Burgundy's at 11. Castle Burgundy's at 11.
Yeah.
Coimbra's at 12. That was surprising. And Homesteaders is at 15, which was surprising.
Oh wow.
You thought that would be higher.
I thought Homesteaders would be higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So I would say somewhere between Castles of Burgundy, Coimbra, Homesteaders, and Black Angel, there's one of those games that would probably fit into that top 10.
Sure.
Yeah.
That at any given time, and again, I wouldn't turn down any of those top
For sure.
games. So
I really think only when you're in the top 5, honestly, like 1 through 5 is like, these are the most special games to me. 6 through like 20 is, you could be like, yeah, these are all pretty
amazing.
similar.
I wanna
My
play
number
them.
11 was Codenames Duet.
Wow.
Surprising, right?
Yeah.
My number 12 was another new one, Cthulhu Death May Die.
Wow.
which kind of supplanted Mansions of Madness. That's down to like 27. That was like number
Oh, man.
4 last time. Hansa Teutonica is still holding rank at number 13. It was number 7 last year because I do a top 20 like every year. It's number 13 now. We just haven't played it. But I still love that game when I think about it.
You're really good
Lords
at
of Vegas was number 14.
Yep.
And number 15 for me was Constantinople.
Nice.
What about you?
My number 11 was On Mars, so very close.
Right
Yeah.
next to mine, number 10.
12 was Tapestry, which I feel like
Wow.
I'd need to play. Like, I'm glad that wasn't in my top 10 or anything.
Yeah.
'Cause I only played it once.
Wow, that is surprising. Number
13 was Terraforming Mars, 14 Caverna, and then like the rest,
Yeah.
12. Sure.
Are the other
know.
ones?
Yeah, you guys especially have a lot of similar games in similar spots
Yeah.
on your list. I mean, we've known for a while that you guys have very similar gaming tastes.
Yeah.
Right. And like Splendor, I mean, I like Splendor because of the special place, but like, it's just like, seems like a noob game
that would've-
now. You
I
know?
agree. I
Like,
completely agree.
play
I have
it.
a- yeah.
I'd definitely play it if someone wanted to play it, but I would never like, if I could pick any game I wanted, I wouldn't pick that at this point in my game.
Yeah, when you were a non,
career.
it was like
Yeah.
the apex. But now that
Right.
you're not a non anymore,
I
More
still think it's a
nons.
good game, but yeah.
I know
These
you
ones
sound
are
very
like,
elitist.
These ones are like I feel like passion for.
Right. I'm glad that you have enough games under your belt now that you have games that you're passionate for.
Yeah.
Back, I used to make her rank games when we first met. I used to make her rank everything she played, and she'd roll her eyes, even though I know she secretly loved it. And now you're doing 2-hour-long Pub Meeple ranking system. So that's going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the show. We also have a Facebook group. You can search Gamecasters, and you'll find us there. You can also email us at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. We also have the Baron BGG Guild that Natalie has still yet
Come
to
on.
join, and that is Guild 3678.
Should I ever join?
If you like, yes,
We have a new member.
I would love to.
Well, at least I told Dave to join. He remembered the. He said he was going to join it when he went on
Dave,
there.
your brother?
I gave him $20, so he
Yeah.
better have done it.
I thought he joined.
Oh, God. If you like the show, we'd like it if you consider giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you listen that allows you to rate us no less than 5. All music for this and every episode was produced by Jeremy Pete. If you enjoyed it and want some of your own for your next project, please email us to discuss. So, for Natalie, Jeff, the Mad Board Gamer, I am Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody. And